Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Charlotte Roval. It's Murph, it's Sam, it's Thursday night, and you know what that means on P1. It's the AMA Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series, and we are here from the Charlotte Roval, Sam. I've been told this is a bit tricky.
Tricky is an understatement for this Roval. It should be oval.
Yeah,
Roval.
Yeah, I'm thinking remove the R from this deal. The Roval is definitely interesting. It is, however, at its heart an IMSA track that was created to be a stadium course for the GTPs back in the 70s and 80s.
Yep.
It's very. I don't want to say I dislike it, but it's.
Well, it wasn't good. It wasn't good then. I was there as a boy, and it was rough on the cars then.
You know, it was rough then. It was very narrow. It was a cool thing to watch on TV. I remember as a kid. But the Roval right now, 2.32 miles inside a 1.5 mile oval. It is very tight, Sam. They packed 17 turns into this layout, starting with the heartburn turn down in turn number 1. Do we still call it that? We still able to call it that, the heartburn turn, Sam?
Well, if you've taken any laps in any car here, you can still call it that. By all rights, you can call it that.
You go down into turn 1, you make the hard left into the infield, you kind of snake through turn 2, and then you've got a bunch of hard braking zones. Turns 3 and 4, little short squirt, hard braking zone, turn 5, same for turn 6, and then a big hairpin at turn 8. There are not one but two.
This configuration with that hairpin is new this year.
There are not one but two. That part is new. There's also the chicane on the front straight. There are not one but 2 bus stops on this course, which is 2 bus stops too many. I am not the fan of chicane, Sam. But there are not one but 2 of those, one on the front, one on the back, and so you'll get to see those. My question for you is, how many cars over or under sliding backwards through the grass on the front straight today?
You could actually take the over under on a lot of segments of this race course, just simply because this Xfinity car with the suspension travel that it has, it's extremely loose anyway, and you can't really put a lot of throttle into the car. You have to really be mindful of your throttle controls, simply because you'll just spin those rear tires dramatically, especially coming off slow corners. You could probably take the over/under at about any location, any chicane, any hairpin. The first turn is treacherous, simply because it is so bumpy through there. If the Xfinity car has a little bit of suspension, so it kind of absorbs some of it, but like the Cup car, forget it. It bottoms out. It wants to throw the car toward the wall. This track is absolutely a nightmare for a lot of drivers.
You know, it is a nightmare, and it's kind of a meme too when you look at the history of this track. The first race they had here, Sam, the cars all piling down into turn 1, and everybody forgot to brake, and they all crashed together into the Tums billboard. That was an interesting night, or interesting day, or mid-afternoon, or however you wanna say it. At the racetrack, the records here, and we are under the track record by quite a bit. The track record here in Xfinity, 1:26.134 for Sam Mayer. That's set in 2024 in the Xfinity Series. Right now, Sam, we're gonna put him up on the board. Who is your best? Who is your guest for the hot lap in practice?
Well, probably for redemption's sake, I would go with Ryan O'Donoghue, because he wasn't at the top last week.
I know he's on a new streak. Ryan O'Donoghue.
Yes, he's got to restart this whole thing.
He does. Now, he's been the fastest in practice for 1 week in a row, so that goes to Ryan O'Donoghue. His streak was ended. That streak was ended last week at 6,482 weeks. Yeah. But then O'Donoghue goes out and wins the race. So everything is.
But I was really eager to see when I got into the server tonight. I was really eager to see how my friend, the battling Brit, James Hodgson, was doing, and he is exceptionally fast tonight as well. Those top 5 lap times, I'm telling you, I've run laps here in these cars. Those are fast. Those are fast laps.
Well, they're all under the real world track record, Sam. I mean, it's just ridiculously fast. Yeah,
considering this car and just trying to run consistent, it is really, really surprising to see that 4 drivers are sub 126.
Yeah, those guys.
Greg Evans, who is an exceptional driver, is he's 126 flat. So we may be in for quite a show tonight.
We may be. Speaking of Greg Evans, he is the points leader. Ryan O'Donoghue sits in second. Remember, we are in playoff territory, Sam. So Greg Evans, the point leader. Ryan O'Donoghue sits in second. You've got still alive in the playoffs, 78 markers behind Kendall Paul, 107 back Dylan Godinez. John Hutchins is 5th. Justin Osterman, Mr. Excitement, 6th. Sean Merriman, 7th. David Dunwoody is now 8th in the points, and I believe David Dunwoody has been mathematically eliminated from David Dunwoody 131 back. Eric Corder, Troy Carricker, James Hodgson, and Lee Campbell are the remainder of your top 12. Speaking of playoffs, Sam, we are at the last race for the cut line, so we want to keep an eye on those drivers 7th to 12th in this playoff chase. And then speaking of upcoming,
we could very well see drivers like Greg Evans, who realizes that he does have a, I don't want to say a comfortable lead, but he does have a lead, and so maybe Greg is here and he's attending the playoff stretch and just wanting to turn some laps and have participation, and he may not be really pushing any issues tonight. He just wants to run and finish.
Yeah, he wants to carry over that big lead to next.
Exactly.
He wants to carry over that big lead to next week at Las Vegas. The round of 8 is October 9th, 16th, and 23rd, Sam. Vegas, Talladega, and Martinsville are the 3 races in the round of 8. And then we'll end it on October 30th for the Blackmagic Studios 200 at the Phoenix Oval. That is the final 4 races in the AMA Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series. As we look at it, Sam, Ryan O'Donoghue says, look out for James Hodgson. O'Donoghue, I was talking with him earlier. Ryan said last night it was tight. He said today that it's going to be a tough one, and he's so glad to have the win in his back pocket moving forward to the next round. But Sam, he doesn't look like it's that tough on him being as fast as he is in practice.
There's no question that Ryan knows how to wheel a race car at these racetracks. It doesn't matter if it's road courses, ovals, short tracks. Ryan O'Donoghue has got a heavy foot, and he knows how to get a race car on iRacing around. So I think tonight, what we're going to see is that drivers are going to have to sacrifice a little bit of speed for consistency. Because without the consistency of turning safe and credible laps every time, you're going to find yourself off course, getting penalized. The curbing here is completely unforgiving. The turtles are more than just turtles. They're dinosaurs that want to throw you into the stands. This track wants to chew you up and spit you out. So consistency really is going to be as much of a factor tonight as speed will be.
Most certainly so. We're going to jump on board Troy Carricker, get inside the helmet of that number 94 as he heads out onto the race course. Here's Troy. He's working through turn 5. Now a short uphill jaunt. He's going to work back around.
This is his out lap. He hasn't taken the green yet.
He has not. So he's going through the hairpin, turn number 7. and there's Carricker. So he gets back. You get back onto what would be turns 1 and 2 in the oval, and then one of the
Correct.
hardest corners. The chicanes here are extremely difficult, Sam, because there's no visual reference to them. You don't have a breaking point that you're able to pick up. You really have those signboards, and that's about it.
You do have the footage markers on the fence.
Beyond that, though,
is you I know what you're saying. It's hard to pick up the left-hand curbing in a way so you can begin your turn in and set up your exit turn. So no, I understand exactly what you're saying.
yeah, there's not a lot of reference there other than those footage markers. Troy Carricker is on the clock now. He goes through turn number 1. I've understood that most drivers are going to take most of the infield here in second gear. Is that accurate, Sam?
That's very accurate. Second gear will probably be the most common gear that they'll run through most of the race. As he's coming right through here, you'll find that some drivers may get to third right here, but it really loosens the car up when you get to the crest of this hill, and you can get a lot of wheel spin. So just staying in second, even if it gets to the rev limiter, because you have to really brake quickly to get into this hairpin and cut the car enough to get a good run into the oval 1 and 2. It's not many drivers outside of on the backstretch here are going to be getting out of second.
You said it though, Sam. Smooth and safe, and that's been the moniker for Troy Carricker here through this opening lap of qualifying. It has been a very steady, smooth lap, and oftentimes, Sam, the laps that don't look dramatic are the fastest ones.
Oh, the old adage is, and when I was coming up in the hobby early on, by some of the better road racers that I was up against, I would try to glean off of those racers and just find out what worked. And the old adage, time and time again, Mark, and you may have heard it yourself, is sometimes slow is fast, and you just have to learn how to balance that out.
Yeah, that's very true. I was in a podcasting episode where one of the podcaster, his shtick was he had everybody turn a lap in a cup car at the Nürburgring Nordschleife, and he kept remarking, how slow my lap looked, and when we got done, I'd put up the second fastest lap on the board. You know what I mean? So it's not all about how fast it looks. It's about how smooth you can be. That's a very difficult exit off of that hairpin too, isn't it, Sam?
Oh, it's incredibly difficult, and to hit that time and time again is really going to be pushing the skill level of these drivers. And not only that, but just a lot of drivers are going to gear down to first gear through that hairpin. Oh, and we see he loses it right there in the chicane on the backstretch. A lot of drivers are going to, when they come off of that hairpin, they're going to be in first gear. So if they're not careful, they may put too much. And we saw it with Troy Carragher's second lap there when he came off that corner and started getting into the banking. Too much throttle, the back end wants to whip around on you, and you could lose it there just simply by giving it too much throttle. So throttle control here is equally as important as the braking.
Yes, it is. Watching now, Justin Osterman, Mr. Excitement, is on his second lap, and always worth watching Justin Osterman, worth the price of admission. He is in the number 53 machine, working around through that hairpin. Turn number 7, a little bit wide there, Sam, and just like he's going to get a slowdown, that's going to cost him a course cut going as far wide as he did. We'll get looking at the forward-facing 88 now. He has taken all the sponsor logos off of that car, so it's just the number for James Hodgson and his personal taste, but he's taken all the sponsor logos off of it this week. I don't know the meaning behind that, but his first lap is a fast one, 1:25.210. That's
faster than his practice speed.
Yeah, that is faster than his practice speed. We're going to jump on board with James, and there he is going through turns 4 and 5, headed toward that hairpin.
Some drivers are very comfortable with a loose condition race car, and they can set their ratio and their offset to where they can manhandle the car a little better, and work that loose condition to their favor. Look at that, a lot of wheel input on that hairpin, but they can work the car to their favor with under those conditions. I know for myself, I ran several laps where you can really allow the car to slide a lot on the infield portion of the race course, and it can actually help you. He really swings wide and catches a part of the fence there on the
Yeah, and
second
he's
lap.
gonna park it.
The chicane, he's going to park it there.
Yep. So,
But you again, you're going. This is where these drivers have to decide: do I want to be the fastest on the track, or do I just want to run consistent, safe laps and be here at the end?
well, and that's the thing. That's the thing with this
Yeah, go
track.
ahead.
It is so tight that trouble can find you anywhere here at the Roval. It's not like a lot of places that you go to where you think, okay, you can do most of this lap on autopilot, and you've only really got to focus on staying out of trouble at this corner or that corner.
Yes, sir.
Here, you have to be on your game in every single one of these turns, every
you
single
can't
part of this
sleep
course.
here.
No,
You
you
can't.
can't. You can't take a break. Like we saw last night, Road America here on the P1 Broadcasting Channel. We saw an IndyCar race at Road America, and there's only really a couple of corners at that track that you really have to dial in on. Right, the rest of it, it's flat out. Right, you gotta think about what you're doing, but you don't have to. You're not thinking, my goodness, if I miss it by a foot, I'm gonna be out of the race. Here, not only is the track very technical, but it's very close quarters and the speeds are very low, and so you're running into one another. You're constantly worried about punting somebody off or getting punted off, Sam. You're worried about exiting those. You're worried about exiting not only the two chicanes, but the hairpin corner they've built down there. The car gets very light. You can spin the rear tires up. There's so many things here, Sam, that can lead to a bad night. So guys are gonna have to be on it all night.
Let's just not even taking the track into consideration and everything you said, and it is spot on what you're saying. But now let's add the element with 14 other drivers out there vying for positions. How do you approach a track like this and make sound, conscious passes? I mean, there's only a couple of overtake points on this track, and they are precarious at best. So everything about this race.
Well, and throw in the specter of it being a cutoff race in the playoffs.
Yes, everything about this race, it really does push these drivers to their skill level best. It really does.
It does indeed. I'd still rather it be on.
And here's the thing about road courses, and let me get this in early. This is the thing about road courses in online racing. A lot of drivers will avoid these races. They won't show up for them. They don't like them. They may not like this race or any road course race, but they may not show up because they just don't want to deal with it. But in my opinion, the drivers that take the time, that come out and learn to race these tracks, it makes them better at other tracks. It teaches throttle control. It teaches braking habits. It also teaches patience, good decision making, and it also shares the character of the driver as well.
I would absolutely agree with all of those things. It wasn't until I went back to junior formulas with the IndyCar side and raced a ton of road courses that I became much better as an oval racer. That was what propelled me. Now, I'm still a terrible road racer, but it taught me a lot about the ovals. Do want to let everybody know qualifications have ended here at the Roval, and we have a starting lineup. On the pole with a lap of 120 with a minute 25.210 seconds, it is James Hodgson. Starting to his outside, he just pipped the fast man in practice, Ryan O'Donoghue, minute 25.657. Row 2, Kendall Paul, Matt Sisler, Greg Evans, and Crash Neon. They'll make up row 3. Then John Hutchins, Troy Carricker, David Dunwoody, and Colby Pierce. They'll round out the top 10. Justin Osterman, Sean Roberts, Eric Corder and Barry Seaman. It's a short field tonight, Sam, and you kind of nailed it. You kind of nailed it, Sam. You kind of nailed it with what you're saying about about guys not wanting to show up for various reasons.
Well, I looked in the chat and I saw where Sean Merriman and I will say Sean Merriman has been a faithful and very habitual partner here at the AMA, and he is a great racer. And he had said in chat, he says, or we don't show up because we were suspended. So how many penalty points you get in the races before, that's a moot point.
Or how many penalty points might you get for criticizing the series officials in the broadcast chat, right? Might want to leave that one in the trailer, Sam. The pace car, the Mustang, has pulled it off a pit road, and we are getting ready to rock and roll. The rules here tonight for this race at the Roval, Sam, stages at 20 and 40 laps. Overall race distance is 67 laps. No tire limits. Just everything straight up. I wouldn't assume that fuel would be an issue here, would it, Sam?
No, not with the stage break the way that they are. There's just, honestly, this is just keep the car clean, stay on the racetrack, make good decisions, and just get fresh rubber at the stage breaks. You may see someone that may stay out at the first stage break just simply to see if it can give them a little bit better track position. But other than that, tires and fuel really are not going to be as dramatic of a difference tonight.
No, they shouldn't be. No reason for anybody to be concerned about fuel. Will we see somebody pull the strategy of coming on the pit lane before the stage break, try to gain some track position? We'll see on that score. But right now, James Hodgson, Ryan O'Donohue, they're going to lead the field down. One of the things I wish they would do, Sam, is have the restarts without having to go through that chicane there. I know that whoever laid this course out loves a good chicane. However, I would absolutely, Sam, love to see them not use it for starts and restarts. I think they should bypass it for that. As far as the lap average, yeah, we can pull that up. The average for the pole speed 94.919 miles an hour for you there, Alta. So they're averaging 94 miles an hour a lap. It's about a minute 25, minute 26 for the fast guys around here at the Charlotte Roval. So that's the skinny 94 miles an hour, Sam. It's a short track.
By all comparisons, speed. Yeah, that's slow. Right.
Yeah, it's a short track. It's a short track speed. I think they might hit 130, 140 miles an hour on the banking before they have to. On the back stretch. Before there's another chicane.
And again, I mean, when you consider that the majority of the infield racing is going to be in second gear, I mean, you can't go much faster.
And then anytime they get out of second gear, there's a chicane. So, it's hard to get out of second gear with a chicane there, Sam.
Here we go.
Sam can tell I'm a huge fan of chicanes. We're going to have a lot of them.
I know. I can tell you're not bitter about them at all as we go into green flag.
James Hodgson leads the field down toward turn one. Heartburn turn, Sam. Everybody's going to get through there. The Tums logos are gone.
There's got to be give and take. Yeah, there's got to be give and take early here. You really just don't want to be too over aggressive, right? Especially the first 3 laps. These tires are extremely sensitive to getting temperature up in them. It takes about 3 laps to really get them into a race-ready condition.
Yes, it may. Eric Corder has already gone to the back from his starting spot. Do want to point out that Eric Corder started 13th, and we have a car backwards. That's Barry Seaman. Barry Seaman has...
Oh, and he is actually disconnected from that.
Barry Seaman's going to throw the DC, and let's see what happened to Barry. Here he is. Let's see. Comes off the corner.
And Hodgson gets loose in the chicane, and that's going to relinquish 2 spots right there. He may lose 4 before it's over with.
All right, Sam. So we're showing the spin for Barry Seaman. We don't quite get to it. Here's James Hodgson. He gets down in the chicane, and I think he just overcooked it, Sam.
Yeah, he really just drove it in a little too hot.
Yeah, he just got in there too hot. Ryan O'Donoghue will get past into the lead. James Hodgson falls back to 5th. But hey, there's a long way to go here. We're working at lap number 2 of...
Yeah, if you're going to make a mistake like that early on. Oh, when he does it again, he is really cooking it into those entries.
You know, it's a matter, Sam, I think, of James. He's been quick in a lot of these races. He was disappointed to miss the truck playoffs. He's hanging on by a thread here. I think James just really, really, really wants to get a win. And he's a very good road racer, Sam. And so, you know, James, I would think, you know, he wins the pole here. I would think that James Hodgson feels as though might be his best chance to win the race. To win a race.
Well, anytime you show up and you put yourself in a position as he
overcooked it again, Sam.
One more time, it's that same corner. Anytime you show up and you have a fast car and you put yourself in a position to win, then there is always, you know, that percentage of a chance. So it's really important to put yourself in those kind of, you know, scenarios so that you may be able to make yourself available if someone else makes a mistake. Right now,
100%. David Dunwoody gets into Mr. Excitement. Justin Osterman, that's right in front of Crash Neon. Around goes Osterman. So we'll have to check this out. Dunwoody just got into the chicane a little bit too hot, Sam. We're gonna have to get up on a roll bar.
He was trying to make that second arc. But his line was incredibly off, and he just lost the back of the car and went into the side of Osterman.
And there you saw it.
Now Osterman's really in a position now where he's going to be racing by himself. So just hit smooth, consistent laps. That's what you just have to keep telling yourself. You know you're going to get a stage break. More than likely, you will not go a lap down in 20 laps. Not at this racetrack. He has enough speed, so just hit consistent laps and allow yourself to catch back up to whoever's in front of you. He's fast enough that he can do that.
Yes, he is. The race is not over for Justin Osterman. David Dunwoody continues to run along. He is in 9th. He's got Colby Pierce, his good friend, behind him in 10th. And then we see open wheel contender Crash Neon in the pink machine. He comes along in 11th spot. Eric Corder is 12th, and then Osterman is 13th. A little bit of wrinkling on the front of Eric Corder's machine. Do want to point out, James Hodgson is now back to Kendall Paul. And so Kendall Paul may be in a situation where, he might be looking to just let James Hodgson go. Hodgson has proven to be plenty quick, but he's also proven that he'll overcook the chicane on the back straight.
Well, we also have learned over time that, and here he goes, that just as you said.
Yeah, Kendall pulled off.
Hodgson going by. But Kendall, I was getting ready to say, we've also learned over time with Kendall Paul's a particular style of racing, he allows the latter laps of a stage to come to him. He would rather not run at a pace that others are running. He wants to run at his own pace, and it has seemed to work for Kendall this year because he's really made some great comebacks late in stages.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There's no reason to fight the faster car right here if you're Kendall Paul. You've got to save your hot rod for the later stages. You're in a points battle. You need a good finish here. There's no reason to wad one up early, especially running against James Hodgson, a guy that you're in Discord with, you're friends with. He's an endurance teammate, right? There's no reason to hold him up at this point. We've still got 15 laps to go in this stage, Sam, before we hit the caution. Greg Evans has very quietly moved up into third place, and he is gaining ever so slightly on Matt Sizzler in second. And there's Sizzler in the 3 birdies machine. Your leader, it's Ryan O'Donoghue in the number 14. O'Donoghue was a half a second quicker the last time through the timing box than Matt Sizzler.
Yeah, he's still turning 126s, low 126s. I mean, those are fast laps. They really are. I thought for sure we would see a appearance of Logan Edwards tonight. Something in me, I thought, man, he might show up tonight.
Well, and so that's the thing. I'm actually kind of surprised we see Crash Neon here, and the reason for that, Sam, is that there was a big announcement today in iRacing, which was that the IndyCar Pro Series is making a comeback, Sam.
Oh, really?
And so we had, as a community, we had kind of been wondering about whether that was going to happen or not. And so it's going to feature a NASCAR style Road to Pro Series with the new Indy Next car and the USF 2000 Pro machine. There are going to be levels to it, just like Stock Car has, which is great. But there are a lot of guys that are polishing their skills in the in the lower Formula cars right now, and in the IndyCar. They're going and dragging out those setups because the Pro Series is a huge deal for the open wheel guys. And so I'm actually surprised to see Crash here. He's a very, very handy. He's a very handy open wheel driver. Matter of fact, he's been up at the front in some of the Indy Next top split races that Jacob Collins has been showing on Monday and Tuesday nights. And so I'm actually kind of surprised to see him here and not turning laps in the open wheel stuff.
Well, he is coming off of a podium finish too.
Yes, he is.
So that could be incentive for a driver to show up at the next event. If you have, if you work yourself up into a podium spot, then I've always learned that when you have good finishes, you want to kind of ride that momentum if you have it, and we could very well see that with Crash. Crash may have said, you know what, I did pretty good last week. I think I'll come back, and he has been getting progressively better and better in his finishes here in the AMA each week in and week out.
You're quite right, Sam. I do want to point out that the advantage for Ryan O'Donoghue has evaporated. Matt Sizzler at one point nearly 2 seconds behind. It's almost like he heard us saying Ryan O'Donoghue's pulling away. He's put the whip to that 35 and pulled right up on the rear spoiler of Ryan O'Donoghue. Matt Sizzler going to make a bid for the lead here before too much longer. And look at the different lines that they're running through that hairpin turn number 7, Sam. Ryan O'Donoghue, very wide arc. Matt Sizzler, almost exactly the opposite. Late apex versus early, and they all wind up in the same spot coming off the corner.
Different drivers really do have different approaches as how they want to work the throttle and the brake. Colby Pierce has made his way around David Dunwoody, and just as I had said earlier, Justin Osterman has now caught David Dunwoody again after their previous contact, and he is racing him for the 11th spot as they're coming through the Oval 1 and 2.
Now, it's not a matter, I don't think, Sam, of Sizzler speeding up so much as it's Ryan O'Donoghue has made a couple of mistakes in recent laps, and that's allowed Sizzler to close into range. And now that Sizzler's there, he's got a rabbit to chase. Matt Sizzler has the rabbit to chase now, and O'Donoghue is not able to shake him, Sam.
Well, as I was saying earlier in the broadcast, these drivers that have these fast laps too are also in jeopardy of burning up those rear tires. So you begin to lose some of that drive off the corners, and when you do, it can really affect your lap times. Although Ryan O'Donoghue's disproving that in a way when he goes into the oval 1 and 2 because he blistered a bit of a distance between he and Matt Fitzler just through that section alone. And here's the thing about these cars. When they're going, if you're watching the broadcast, these cars, when they're going through turns 1 and 2 or 3 and 4 on the oval portion of the racetrack, it is not as smooth as you. Oh, Matt Sisler. Oh, and Ryan O'Donoghue spins the tires. And that opens the door for Matt Sisler.
Yeah, we had just jumped on board with Ryan O'Donoghue, and I guess we'll jump back into the passenger seat of the number 14. But he spun the tires up coming off of the chicane, Sam. Spun the tires coming off the chicane and just smacked the outside wall at the start-finish line, and that's all Matt Sisler needed. So new leader, Matt Sisler, in the 3 Chevrolet. Ryan O'Donoghue is now second after leading the first 9 circuits. And we'll see how this plays out. Ryan O'Donoghue, 8 laps led. Matt Sisler credited with that last one. But we'll see. Has that different line in the way that Ryan O'Donoghue kind of throws his car around here? Has that led to the rear tires kind of being shredded a little bit here, Sam?
They're going to get hotter as the laps go, especially if you're turning faster laps. I'm a firm believer that the faster you go at this particular racetrack, that's one of the detriments to these particular cars. And even in the pre-race broadcast, I even shared that chicane on the front stretch, when you're coming off of that chicane, it is so easy to put too much throttle input and lose the back of the car. It'll tail whip on you just like it did on Ryan O'Donoghue, and then he catches the wall and has to really get out of the throttle, and Matt Fitzler was able to get by him there.
Yes, it will. I do want to point out that pole sitter James Hodgson, after missing the chicane on the backstretch, James Hodgson has made it past Kendall Paul one more time, and he now pulls up on the rear deck lid of the Deuce. That's Greg Evans, very quietly and very professionally matriculating along in 3rd place, but he's got a rear view mirror full of James Hodgson.
Yeah, I was hoping that James would just settle down and just allow the race to come to him. And that could very well be the case, is what we're seeing here. He's exceptionally strong in this portion of the racetrack. His line is excellent through that hairpin, and he's able to pick up a little bit of speed on that corner, on that right-hander right before you get to that hairpin, where other drivers are really tenderfooting it down in there.
Yeah, and you can tell James Hodgson is very comfortable here. Same with Ryan O'Donoghue on newer tires. Matt Sisler, just for what it's worth, has pulled out to a 1.2 second advantage. But the last lap through, the fastest guy on the course, not named Matt Sisler, was James Hodgson, and he is right with the Deuce here as they come through the chicane on the front straightaway.
It is so incredibly hard to pass at this racetrack, but Greg Evans is going to allow James Hodgson. I'm sure that Greg was watching the relative. He saw how much distance that James Hodgson made up on him to catch him, and so Greg Evans says, I'm not going to risk anything here. I'm comfortable just riding my race, and he lets James Hodgson go. James Hodgson with another sub-128 second lap.
Yes, he has. Greg Evans, by the way, his last lap did not count, so he must have run afoul of the track limits, and James Hodgson has gone on through. So Hodgson now is second, and his march toward the lead will continue. Further back in the field, we've got a battle between Colby Pierce and Mr. Excitement Justin Osterman. New colors on the 42 for Colby Pierce. Good looking hot rod. Appreciate the support on the hood from Colby. But Osterman all over the back and taking some really interesting lines.
Oh yeah, he's these large swooping entries so that he can get a drive off of the corners. He's trying to catch speed that way, and it's working for him because he's made up so much ground to catch these drivers that he had fell from after being spun out early in the event on the front stretch, and now he's harassing Colby Pierce here.
Okay, so that was one, right? I'm here, Sam.
One tap.
One tap. I'm here.
That tap cost him, though. Colby picked up another big lead there.
Yeah, Colby, he got to the rear bumper and hit the 42, but it cost him almost a second, Sam.
It sure did, yeah. He probably had to get way out of the throttle, almost completely stopped there through the hairpin.
Yeah, just to avoid hitting Colby Pierce. So Justin Osterman is going to have to come back from that, and so we'll rejoin once he catches Colby Pierce. Do want to point out, guys running along very quietly. The number 13 of Sean Roberts, there he is, as he races through the Charlotte Roval, just going through the hairpin, turn number 7.
Yeah, Sean's kind of in no man's land, just racing his own race in between some other cars that are spread out around him. But Sean Roberts is a road course racer. He had a great run going at Watkins Glen until he and Greg Evans made some contact, and it kind of ended his night a little bit earlier. But Sean Roberts is not a bad road course racer.
He is not. We're going to cut back to Colby Pierce and Justin Osterman. This is a battle for position on the course. It is Pierce in 10th. Osterman wants 10th, and that's a position that Osterman needs to have as a playoff driver. He needs to be scoring as many stage points as possible, but he has not yet found a way around Colby Pierce despite being much faster, Sam.
Well, he's going to try out braking probably right here as they're going into the chicane, but Colby Pierce is smart enough to know that that's something that he has to work on as well, and so he's able to hold that initiative off by Justin Osterman. Justin Osterman, there is another braking point after they get through 3 and 4 here, and when they come into this other chicane on the front stretch, Justin Osterman has been driving it in incredibly deep right here, much deeper than Colby Pierce. So we'll see if he can get a run on the front stretch going into turn 1.
There he goes. But did you notice, fans, Colby Pierce covered that off very nicely. Osterman may have a dive down into turn number 1. He does not. Colby Pierce will retain the position. This is really the only battle on the course of note, other than Ryan O'Donoghue has now been passed by James Hodgson. So Hodgson moved him up to second. He's made it all the way back from those mistakes that he made earlier. But we need to keep our eye on Mr. Excitement and Colby Pierce, because there's liable to be some fireworks here, Sam.
Look how deep. And he's going to make contact this time.
That's
he's going
2.
to really try to make this pass. That's the hard way around, and he gets a little loose there. He's not going to be able to make that pass stick. He tries a crossover going into turns 1 and 2 on the high banks.
No, Colby Pierce is
doing a great job defending that spot, but Justin Osterman is going to be relentless.
Yep, Colby Pierce is making him work for it. Now Osterman I don't know that he broke that much.
Contact into the chicane. I think Colby just misjudged the entry there. I don't think it was intentional. I just think that he misjudged. He was going to fall in behind Osterman, and he caught him in the right rear.
But a slowdown.
And now Osterman's back to square. Yeah, somebody's going to get a slowdown from that.
Osterman got the slowdown. I'm surprised Colby Pierce didn't, unless the system judged that Osterman kind of pushed him out there, and that's possible. But Osterman back to square one. It's worth noting Ryan O'Donoghue has repassed James Hodgson, and so those two will do battle one more time. The reason that we're following this, it's a battle for 10th. Pierce has it. Osterman wants it. But the reason that we're following this is that these two have a good long history of trading paint in just about everything from jumpy trucks to cup cars and everything in between. And so
jumpy trucks, okay.
We have. You're not a fan of the jumpy trucks, Sam?
The jumpy trucks, okay.
Osterman's going to stick it inside.
Oh, they're glued together. They finally come apart. They're going to be side by side going through turns 1 and 2. This is going to be interesting. Osterman clearly has the better line, but it's going to be interesting to see who outbreaks who. Colby Pierce has to let him go this time.
So Pierce does break early. He's going to get back to the rear of Justin Osterman here. I believe that was a touch. And Colby Pierce is going to affect the crossover going down the front straight. So Colby Pierce going down through 3 and 4. So Colby Pierce with the advantage here
He's really
going.
not in the best position to make the pass here. Osterman still has the line, but now he's going to get the penalty. Now he's going to get the penalty for cutting the course there. So he'll have to let Osterman go.
He did, but maybe a little bit of dirty pool from Osterman. Did you notice that that Justin Osterman had his car pointed at Colby Pierce as if to not allow him to turn in the corner? But Pierce serves the slowdown without allowing Osterman to get past.
Both drivers could have very well been using up enough tire that they're just not able to get back into the throttle quick enough, and that allows that time differential to dissipate quickly.
And there is,
if nothing else, these two drivers have decided that they're going to make 10th position really entertaining tonight. If you can't race up front, race where you're at.
Well, now
Now,
speaking of interesting, we've got to cut away from those two because second, third, fourth, and fifth are having a battle royale. Sam.
Wow! Look at that.
Now you don't think a 14, 15 car field would be glued together like this. Greg Evans, James Hodgson, Kendall Paul, and Ryan O'Donoghue. I was looking at that and I went, wait a minute. I thought that Hodgson had cleared them and pulled away. As it turns out, James Hodgson going through the field.
Ryan O'Donoghue. There's just bumper cars now.
Ooh, Kendall Paul around.
Just about loses it.
He didn't lose it, Sam, but he got awful close.
Ryan O'Donoghue's apologizing. He just locked up, and as the viewers could see, I mean, he just locked the tires up going into that hairpin, and it was just bumper cars from there on out. And the car is extremely light and loose in that hairpin anyway.
Yes, it is.
Quietly through all of this, Greg Evans moves up into the second spot.
And now he's got a nice advantage right there over James Hodgson. So let's come back to guess who's side by side again. Osterman and Pierce. They head for the hairpin one more time. Osterman's going to overshoot it. He's going to go way wide. That's what got him the black flag in qualifying, Sam. And that's going to let Colby Pierce extend and escape just one more time through turns 3 and 4 of the oval, as they or through 1 and 2 on the oval as they head toward the chicane, Sam.
It's so hard to get up to speed coming off of that hairpin. You can make up that time differential even if you get penalized so quickly. So that's not as big of a penalty as one might think. That's exactly how Justin Osterman's able to close that gap so quickly. I feel like Osterman is faster than Colby Pierce here, but Pierce is going to run his race and his line, and he's going to make Osterman earn it.
Yeah, I mean, Justin Osterman's fastest lap is 1.7 seconds faster than Colby Pierce's fastest lap. He is by far the faster car. Colby Pierce is doing a masterful job, Sam, of placing his car where Justin Osterman has to go has to take the non-preferred way around in the passing zones. We kind of touched on it earlier. It's very difficult to pass here in the infield road course section. There's really only a couple of passing zones, and Colby Pierce is putting his car into a position where Justin Osterman cannot leverage his speed to get by because he's making him go the long way around.
Right.
There's the hairpin. That's another great example of it. So watch. Osterman's going to get to him here, but Colby Pierce is going to put his car in such a position that he's going to have the advantage in this chicane. Watch, it doesn't matter. The first part of this doesn't matter. It's the second two corner. It's turns 2 and 3 of a 4-turn bus stop that matter. So you want to be on the right going into the corner, not the left, right? When you come to the one on the front straight, you're going to want to be on the right, not the left, because 3 of the 4 corners in that thing are lefts, or they're rights. So Osterman goes to the inside. Colby Pierce is should be able to cross him over, but I think Osterman's got it done and dusted now, Sam.
Well, he can't say that he didn't have to work for it. That's a given tonight for Justin Osterman. And now we found Matt Sissler is starting to catch some of the back markers in the field as he's already passed. Now he's passing David Dunwoody, and he's already made the pass to get around Eric Corder as well. Those two cars will go a lap down.
Now that's a big situation for Corder and Dunwoody.
It is. It is.
Because now they're both a lap down. It's another about 30 seconds up the road to Colby Pierce, and so the odds of somebody else going a lap down here. Oh, Dunwoody hard in the wall. You see that, Sam?
Now he's a lap down. He doesn't want to lose that lucky dog position, and so he's overdriving the car just to stay ahead of Eric Corder.
Yeah, there he is, and Dunwoody, not a noted road racer, right? He's got the Halloween scheme on the Blackmagic Studios number 28 with admin box on the side of it. He's doing a good job, Sam. But Dunwoody just, he's trying to survive here, and if he can stay on the lead lap, get the lucky dog, get back going, pointed in the right direction again on that lead lap, that would be a victory for David Dunwoody. Just to finish on the lead lap here would be a victory for him.
Absolutely.
Back to the front we go, and do want to thank everybody. We've got it, even though it's a Roval, and even though it's the Roval, even though it's a short field here tonight with guys taking the week off, we do have a pretty good crowd in attendance here. Do want to thank everybody for joining in. Chat is encouraged. Hit us up if you got a question. Sam and I are more than happy to answer it on the air. Make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the P1 Broadcasting P1 Broadcasting Network, and be notified of all future events. We're going to be back here tomorrow night, Sam, for the Pick 'em Up trucks.
Oh boy!
At least
they put some watermelons in the tails portion of the truck. Give some rear grip.
I think for nostalgia and realism sakes, they should load the race trucks down with moonshine and make the drivers haul it as a nod to the origins of stock car racing.
A lot of shine run through these mountains.
I can neither confirm nor deny any participation or consumption as a result of those activities. Anyway, James Hodgson continues to run third, and he's got Kendall Paul behind him. Now they're gonna complete the stage here. But remember, we've got to wait for Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman, to finish his lap before the yellow will get thrown. So it's going to be a minute. Justin Osterman is 56 seconds behind the leader. Also worth pointing out that David Dunwoody and Eric Corder are having a scrap for that one spot left on the lead lap.
The lucky dog, yeah.
Yeah, to get the lucky dog. And Dunwoody rolls it through, gets the slowdown, rolls the chicane, gets the slowdown, and Eric Corder went wide and just about stuffed it in the fence. So these two are having all kinds of trouble. Meanwhile, Kendall Paul and James Hodgson, they're getting ready to do battle for third.
It's turned out that some of these positions, some of these drivers are starting to use up these tires a little bit, and so it's made it interesting for certain positions that some of the drivers are going to be battling it out, especially when you see four cars going for one spot later in the stage, like we saw just a few laps ago. But now all those cars have kind of leveled out outside of Kendall Paul harassing James Hodgson.
Yes, they have.
Evans has made it around those two lap cars, but now the cautions come out, and that's going to spare David Dunwoody. However, he has to keep that car clean.
Yes, he does.
Sure he doesn't get a penalty or a bump.
Yes, he does, and he's got some damage. Now, the good news is a caution lap around here takes 3 or 4 minutes, and so David Dunwoody is going to have the opportunity to effect quite a bit of repair, and he's going to need it. We've seen that car bounce off the wall on several occasions, Sam, and on all of and they've been on both sides of it too.
This will be where drivers will be able to make a reset. James Hodgson, who has clearly shown a lot of speed tonight, but early on had some misfortune and was pushing the car a little bit beyond its limitations. But he has another stage now that he can try and keep pace with Matt Stifler and see what he can hold on. Matt Stifler, if anybody hated seeing the caution, it was him because he had a 10-second lead. But his consistency, again, in the pre-race broadcast, I was talking about just consistency and commitment to running clean lines is just as important as being fast.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You can be as fast as you want over one lap. However, if you roast the tires or you're driving, I don't want to say uncontrolled, Sam, but driving in a manner that you can't replicate lap over lap, it doesn't do you much good. And Matt Stifler was able to be the most consistent in that run. Stifler is going to be your stage winner. Do want to thank everybody for joining in here on the P1 Broadcasting Network. You're watching live coverage of the AMA Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series from the Charlotte Roval. We've got 22 of 67 laps complete, and we are in the first stage break caution. Matt Stifler was your first stage break winner. If you haven't already done so, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to P1, be notified of all future iRacing action here on the P1 Broadcasting Network. Sam, everybody is going to stop here. No reason to stay out. David Dunwoody is going to get the lucky dog. And then we're going to re-rack this for the shortest stage, which would be, what, 16 laps by the time they turn them back loose, Sam?
Yeah, this will be the shortest stage by far. I'm just curious too. Well, the lap times were dropping off 3 to 4 seconds. It just depends, or as much as 5 seconds to some drivers. So, I don't see why anyone would stay out and not get fresh rubber here.
Now, theoretically, well, especially since there's no tire limits, theoretically, Sam, how far could you go? How far could you go on a tank of fuel here? If you had to go,
that was the one thing that when I was running my laps here, that was the one thing I did not look at was the fuel mileage to see with a at a 2-mile track. I mean, you're looking probably somewhere around 40 laps.
Gotcha. So theoretically, if this race didn't have stages, this would be a one stop, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly.
Right.
But with stage break, there's no incentive.
Well, yeah, with the stage break and several caution laps, you can make it. But the problem is that all the lap time you would lose for having the older tires. The tires would be
shredded now.
In your own vernacular, they'd be shredded for sure.
Yeah. Now Ryan O'Donoghue has stayed on pit lane. He was able to effect some repair. Also still sitting on the pit road, crashing on Troy Carricker, Colby Pierce. David Dunwoody has not yet made it back around.
He had to take the lucky dog.
Right, so he's now taking the lucky dog. I'm interested to see what kind of repairs happen to that 28 because he's hit pretty much everything hard. He straight lines the chicane on the back, which you're not supposed to do, Sam, but we've caught him and it's in the evidence for future reference. But Dunwoody, he's most assuredly here, Sam, he's gonna have to fix the right. He's knocked the right front off of it, and the left side appears to be a little bit more flatter than it started. And so David Dunwoody might be welcoming this caution just so he can get some of that damage fixed.
And who knows what the effect of some of this damage may be. It may be enough to tighten the car up and you won't be experiencing as much of a loose condition, especially if you're messing with the front tires. And it may make it more manageable. It may not be as fast, but the car may be more manageable.
Yes, sir. And Sam, he's got some time. His competitors just now in the backstretch chicane.
Right.
So he's got another. Under caution, he's probably got another minute that he can sit there, and they can the virtual pit crews here, they can beat a lot of stuff out in a minute or two.
Oh, by far in iRacing, the repairs, the optional repairs go so much quicker than what they may be able to do in real life.
Well, in real life, you can't really do much of that anymore, right? I mean, you either got to cut it off and bare bond it. The pace car has now entered the chicane on the front straight. Sam, do you hear the detestment in my voice for a chicane?
Every time you say it, Mark, every time you say it.
There have been so many, and here's the reason for that. There have been so many great race courses in the world that have been ruined by chicanes. We're going to have a 24-hour race at one of those in a week or so, and that's Imola, the circuit Dino Ferrari in Imola, Italy, home of the San Marino Grand Prix. Very much been ruined by chicanes. The Nürburgring, another one of those, with the building of the Ersatzring that has chicanes, eliminating the fast flowing south course, south loop. Golly, what's another one?
For a racer, it really is so much about the speed. It really is. I mean, it's the rush of the
Whoa,
speed.
we've got car around in the back. Is that Crash Neon? No, it's Eric Quarter that has spun under the yellow light, Sam. And I believe Eric Quarter, he's trying to catch up to the field, and he just loops that 77 going through the chicane on the backstretch, backs it in lightly to the GlaxoSmithKline banner that advises you to ask your doctor about something. And so he gets pointed in the right direction. But Eric Quarter just about wrote that car off under caution, and he and Dunwoody are having to hustle here because they need to catch the back of this field.
Yeah, well, the field is actually just now getting on turns 1 and 2. They still have some time to catch the field. There has been some discussion with the front runners, the driver. Yep, they're still discussing it, but there was some discussion about a restart zone at this particular racetrack, and so now administration is letting the drivers know that they are not going to honor a restart zone at this particular race or this particular track. They're going to go on the green flag, so it'll be a little bit harder for drivers to get a big advantage jumping off the start here as they come through that last chicane.
And I think that that's a nice move here by the administration. The restart zone here is kind of weird, which is another reason why I wish they would bypass that bus stop on the front for starts and restarts and just use the oval restart zone. It would make so much more sense. It would also have the cars at speed when they got to turn number 1. And so they would be more able to accurately judge that braking zone as opposed to not being at speed and kind of not knowing where to hit the brakes. That's something that a lot of people don't realize, Sam. These stock cars, the brakes are not good. In terms of
they're not.
They're not good, and especially if you go drive another. You go drive another.
Pace cars in?
Yeah, pace cars in. The race is back on. You go drive another car like a GT3 or an open wheel car. The first thing that surprises any stock car ace in the sim is the brakes.
Yeah, the adjustments on these brakes are very temperamental too, just simply because of just how they are not the most forgiving brakes, especially on the Xfinity cars and the trucks. The Cup cars have more piston calipers and bigger rotors, so the brakes on those cars are a little bit better.
Well, the Cup cars are basically more or less GT3 cars anyway. I mean, let's be fair
right,
about
but they're a carbon fiber as well, so they have a tendency to be a little bit squishy, so to speak.
They're squishy until they're not. Well, they're not squishy. The problem is that unless you're at a road course or a short track, you don't use them. Carbon fiber brakes need to be kept in a specific window. If you don't.
Oh, Sean Roberts misses the chicane. John Hutchins misses the chicane. There's cars kind of all over the place on the backstretch chicane, and now they're going to have to give up a little bit of time differential. Ryan
John
O'Donoghue
Hutchins
kinda
has done
split
more
the
than just
difference.
miss it. The 72 sideways in the middle of that chicane, and I believe that we've got Sean Roberts participated in this, and Ryan O'Donoghue had a ringside seat, Sam. And
He sure did.
let's see what's happened here. You got Roberts leading, Hutchins leading O'Donoghue. They're going to get down here, and I bet there's some sort of contact that's going to ensue. It's John Hutchins hits the first turtle, locks the brakes, and then watch. He's trying to turn the car. And does he hit the inside wall? He does not. Ooh.
No, he misses it.
Troy Carricker came through and boom into the back of John Hutchins, and that's going to end.
Yeah, Sean Roberts was just in defense mode right there. He saw that Hutchins was going to miss that corner.
And he drove it, which is the right thing to do. And poor Troy Carricker, he doesn't have anywhere to go. Watch this. He's following the line of the course, and John Hutchins just is there. And there's nowhere for either one of them to go. Hard contact for Carricker, hard contact for Hutchins. Carricker is...
And Hutchins he had the tow. I think he could very well have engine damage there. And Troy Carricker is sitting on pit road as well.
Yeah, Hutchins with the meatball.
Both of these drivers are playoff contending drivers.
They are indeed. There is smoke rising from the number 72. I believe that is night done for John Hutchins. Troy Carricker did not have the meatball, so he may very well be able to effect repair. Meanwhile, Justin Osterman sits sideways on the front stretch, and that is because he's tangled with none other than Colby Pierce. And I
can't believe that those two are together again.
Well, they've been rubbing on each other for the last 27 laps, Sam, and we'll let the fans at home be the judge here. If you don't want to know, don't watch their hands. How's that?
Well, those two have just been fighting it out all night long.
If you don't want to know, don't watch their hands. Meanwhile, Justin Osterman has got it pointed back in the right direction. Colby Pierce remains 7th. Matt Sisler is your leader from Greg Evans, James Hodgson, Kendall Paul, and Sean Roberts has very quietly moved in the 5th. Ryan O'Donoghue, he's got his damage fixed up, Sam. He spent 28 seconds in the pit box, so he was fixing something. But he's very quietly moved back to 6th. He avoided the mess in front of him. Colby Pierce is 7th. There's Colby, and he is under fire now from Crash Neon. And Crash Neon is a well-noted road racer in the open wheel community. Colby Pierce jumps the curbing in the final chicane, Sam. Goes over the turtle, and Crash Neon will go on through to take 7th. Next up would be David Dunwoody. Was a lap down not too long ago. He's moving. He's running along in 9th. That would be above expectations for David Dunwoody to finish in the top 10, I think.
Well, he's fought hard for the positions that he's had, and he has benefited from the lucky dog after the first stage to get him back on even playing field with the other drivers. I'm interested to see how Justin Osterman is going to be able to. He drove back up into the field from the back before, and I would not doubt if he's going to catch these cars that are in the second half of the top 10. He's going to push that car as hard as he can to make up that ground again. We may have to call security down into the pit area if he catches back up to the 42, though.
Well, I tell you what, Sam, he's about 10 seconds behind Pierce. He's going to have to negotiate David Dunwoody before he gets to Colby Pierce. And really, even though Justin Osterman is about a second a lap quicker than Pierce, Matt Sisler, by the way, a 125.730 purple lap. Good grief, Sam. It's going to be. It might be just before the end of the stage before Justin Osterman gets back by him. But Colby Pierce has proven to be a tough nut to crack tonight. Osterman really had a hard time getting past him. Crash Neon is finding that out too. Neon tried to make the move on Colby Pierce and couldn't quite get it done. Crash Neon forced a retreat just a little bit, but Colby Pierce running along in 7th, and he wants to stay there, Sam.
Well, why wouldn't you want to get the best position that you could get for a race like this, especially a road course? Do you think Matt Thistler is getting comfortable out in the lead like that? Do you think that he's finding his groove, so to speak? I mean, he's turning some fast laps.
Yeah, he just turned a lap that would have put him on the pole for the race, Sam. You know, he's out there slinging it. 1:25.730 is quicker than the track record.
Yeah, those 3 birdies are flying. There's no two ways around that.
Yeah, they are. We'll go ahead and get back up here with Matt Sisler. Give the man his due. He comes across the line to start lap 30 of 67. So we are closing in on halfway. Remember, we're going to have a stage break at lap 40. And so we're going to have a stage break at lap 40, and then we'll run the final 23 or 4 laps, likely caution free. Matt Sisler is your leader. Greg Evans is second. James Hodgson, Kendall Paul, Sean Roberts will round out your top 10 or top 5. Do want to thank everybody in the audience tonight. If you haven't already done it, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the P1 Broadcasting channel, and get notified of all future iRacing broadcasts here on P1. The big news came down today, Sam. IndyCar Pro is back, and I'm going to have to ping you because we all listen to the same podcasts and know a lot of the same people. How about the talk of bringing back the full season championship? Have you had a chance to weigh in on that controversy yet, Sam?
Well, I have not had an opportunity to weigh in on it, but I am a little curious as why it would be controversial if it was a series that they felt was important enough to bring back.
I just don't understand why they ever went away from it. You know, it's and there was a segment, and I watched a thing with Jeff Burton on it. You know, and he sat there. He sat with who was it? Who's the guy that does the door bumper clear? Is a spotter for Bubba Wallace. Is it? I can't name.
Okay.
I can't think of the name off the top of my head. But you know who I'm talking about, guy with the beard and but he was on that podcast. Go ahead, Sam.
No, go ahead.
So I thought you were going to say something.
Oh.
But Jeff Burton was on there, and he was on the Drivers' Council when the playoff format was conceived, and you know, he said, you know, he repeated over and over again that TV had nothing to do with the playoff format. And in my opinion, this is my opinion, Jeff Burton looked a lot like the cigarette executive saying smoking does not cause cancer before Congress. Right? I mean, he did not appear credible when he was talking about that. And you know, everybody knows they went to the playoffs because of TV. Unfortunately, it's really killed a lot of attendance at a lot of tracks because the races don't really mean much anymore until you get to the playoffs. And even the playoff races don't really matter unless you're in the playoffs. Whereas,
well,
you know, every race used to
matter. There's so many of
matter.
these series that are suffering from ratings decreases because of that very issue.
You know, the only two racing series that are televised in the United States that are not suffering from ratings decreases this year. Care to know what those two are?
Well, that would depend. That would depend too. I mean, that demographic would have to be dependent upon inclusiveness to streaming formats like Flow or Dirt TV. I mean, those streaming services are thriving right now.
They are, but they don't draw the kind of numbers that a mainstream, you know, even truck race would draw. Flow has a good night when there's 30 or 40,000 people that watch. You know, the average truck race draws, you know, 300,000-400,000. But the only two series in the United States that are televised that are not ratings down right now are F1 and IndyCar, and neither one of those series have a playoff. I think it's worth noting. So
Greg Evans almost loses it in the chicane. That's going to allow James Hodgson to really get up on the bumper here.
yeah, and we'll
I think
see.
Greg he's really trying to catch Matt Sisler, because Sisler's now, he's just starting to check out on these drivers.
Yeah, Evans had pulled in a half second that last time, and he overcooked it there. That's going to let Evans, and to a certain extent, Kendall Paul, rejoin this fight for second. So we'll keep eyes back on the deuce and really the battle for second. But they are starting to haul in Matt Sisler just a little bit. That mistake notwithstanding, Sam, Greg Evans had been cutting into that lead pretty effectively.
Well, with only 7 laps left in this stage, I doubt very seriously they're going to be able to catch Sisler unless he makes a mistake. It's going to be really telling in the last stage to see who's going to be able to save enough tire to run that long of a distance. Now, we do see a little mistake out of Sisler right there. His entry was affected a little bit there in the hairpin. But other than that, I mean, it's going to have to be a major mistake for Sisler if these drivers are going to be catching him before the end of the stage.
Yeah, let's jump.
I think it's just defense mode right now for these drivers in second, third, and fourth, just to maintain. And if something comes to them, then they'll take advantage of it.
Yes, indeed. Jump on board, Matt Sisler. Greg Evans, your buddy, nearly reckoned. Got you out of a controversial opinion, maybe, Sam. But I think NASCAR is going to do away with the playoffs here very shortly, just because
they've already made a decision. There's already a decision made. Jeff Cluck has already made comments. Bob Pockrass has made comments on X, and there's already been discussion. Jeff Cluck is actually part of a drivers' council for NASCAR.
Why is a media guy on a drivers' council for NASCAR? That's another question that I have to broach. Why is a reporter on a council for NASCAR? It's a great question.
But I guess because of his, the amount of interaction that he has from the different perspectives of the racing itself. I can't answer it for verbatim why he would be involved with that, but he's actually several weeks back he had actually made a post that said that he had got referendum that a decision had already been made about playoff changes next year. And they were supposed to have a meeting that following week, and I've not seen him post anything else in regards as to the results of that meeting. They're keeping it very, very quiet for right now. They don't want to give anything away.
The meeting was about Jeff Gluck posting on Twitter about meetings, NASCAR playoff format.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
I did though
anything to get views.
I do though. Matt Sisler amazes me at how smooth he is attacking this track. He's got Troy Carricker up in front of him. Carricker is a lap down, and for what it's worth, Carricker does not want to go 2 laps down, and he wants to catch Eric Corder. The problem is he's only got 5 laps, and the gulf is about 38 seconds between Corder and Carricker. The other bad news for Troy Carricker is that there will not be there will not be any more cautions. It's a road course, and so local yellows only here in the sim. Unless they are manually thrown by the admins. And the rule there is the track has to be completely blocked before you see that occur. And so it would be very rare to see a full course yellow on a road course. But no, I was never a fan of the playoff. I thought it took away a lot from having to show up and be competitive every week, because all you had to do is win a race and then kind of stroke along for 4 or 5 months, and all of a sudden you're a championship contender again. That don't make much sense, Sam.
Or you legitimately do not make the playoffs and then turn around and backdoor get yourself in and then win the championship, like
right.
Joey Logano.
Yeah, or the playoff situation, we would have never had, what was probably the greatest championship battle in NASCAR history, 1992, where Alan Kulwicki made up 200 and some odd points on Bill Elliott, and the large organization factory team Junior Johnson, with against Alan Kulwicki and his briefcase, and they go to Atlanta with what? There were 6 cars that were eligible for that championship, Sam.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Um,
And everything just fell into place that day for Alan.
for Kulwicki. Well, it didn't help that Tim Brewer called Elliott into the pit lane 1 lap early.
Yeah, that's
it did.
true.
It didn't help that. I wish that Brewer would just admit his mistake. But I think he's, he people have called Junior Johnson hard-headed. Tim Brewer's just as hard-headed, I think, Sam.
Oh, well, if you've ever watched him on any of the podcasts that are out there, he'll tell you just how hard-headed he and Junior Johnson were with each other. It was epic. Their relationship was very epic in that regard.
Yes, it was, and I'm sure that we could talk all day. I always felt bad for Davey Allison in that race because he got caught up in Ernie Irvin's mess, and Davey Allison would have won the championship with just a solid finish, if I recall. And it was that turned into Bill Elliott having a chance to salvage his season because he had a huge lead and then coughed it up. Remember, burned a piston at Phoenix. The story behind that is just as wild as anything else, right? And then, they get to Atlanta and dominate the race, and they pit 1 lap too early. And Kulwicki wins the championship because he led the most laps. Mike Rigney is joining us. He says, "What's up, Sammy?" He says, "How come you get a what's up and I get a hello?"
Hey, Mike, it's good to see you, my friend.
They had a heck of a Lotus 79 race Lotus 79 race at Nashville the other night. My goodness gracious, Sam, that was so much. Those cars are so much fun to watch.
I've been kind of going back and watching the replays of those races. Those retro 79 races are tremendous. They've been so good.
Yes, they have been. They are. That is something else. If you want to see some pretty cool stuff, and you want to turn the clock back to 1979, tune it into P1 905 on Monday nights. Monday nights here, we've got the past, we've got the present, we've got the future. That's the past, and it is glorious that iRacing has preserved that car so that we can enjoy it in the sim. It is truly fabulous. Plus, you get P1's A team of Gary Godso and LGN behind the mics, which means that you don't have to deal with my incompetence.
I'm sorry. Our friends Justin Osterman and Colby Pierce are back at it again.
Oh, no. Here we go.
They have put on a show. Justin Osterman, I bet he
I
drove
said
that
New
car
Hampshire,
in
Mike.
10 cars deep on these chicanes. He is outbraking Colby Pierce by 10 car lengths. It is insane, and he is trying everything in his power to get around that 42 machine. As they go,
Whoa!
This time he just rams him. This time he just gets into the back, and Colby Pierce saves it. There's no questioning that Justin Osterman had enough, and so now he's by him.
Yeah, so we'll let again. I am not an official, and I did say New Hampshire. I thought I said New Hampshire. If I said Nashville, I apologize. I am not an official, Sam. But we'll let the officialdom judge that one. I don't know.
Well, it's a good thing there's a caution coming up because I'm sure that Colby Pierce's car has afforded quite a bit of damage in the rear, on the right front, probably some suspension damage the way he hit that curbing.
Yes, it did.
He's running that's a defensive line on entry there. I mean, he is, but nothing to constitute. Man, that's
there's chrome horns and there's chrome snow plows, chrome back end loaders. That was all of those. Colby Pierce, he's not even going to be able to make the stage, Sam. Well, no, I thought he was going to pull. I thought he was going to pull that thing on the pit road
too, but he's staying out there. It wouldn't benefit him at all to pit now. He needs to wait for the stage.
Yeah, he's only got
I mean,
one.
he's not under any threat. David Dunwoody is still quite a ways back. He's 11 seconds behind Colby Pierce
Oh,
here.
he's still
So
got a half a lap before he gets a lap down. And my
yeah.
apologies. I stand corrected. Mike tells me I said Nashville. I meant New Hampshire. I apologize. But that racing over there in that car has been Sam, did you see the Homestead race? They had that thing
Oh, the
three.
Homestead race was I was immediately on the horn to Mike Rigney and told him that was probably one of the best races that I have seen. It was phenomenal. The Homestead race it was a joy to watch. Those cars were so competitive. A lot of lead changes. Those long, drawn-out pit stops. I mean, I love that iRacing keeps true to the genre, and so those '79 series cars, they did not have conventional compression jacks in the car, so they had to jack the car up in the front, jack the car up in the back, and so the pit stops are incredibly long and green flag stops, a lot of passing, some leaders pulled away from the field. They raced it out. I mean, it was just so good. There was so very little about that race that was not enjoyable. Oh, Dunwoody misses the chicane completely this time.
He's trying, Sam. He's trying. He's trying. Mike said doesn't have his admin hat on, but oof. I have a feeling if you did something like that, and if you did something like that around 9:05 Eastern time on P1, you might not be racing there much longer. I just have that feeling, Sam.
Let's call it instinct, right?
I mean, I don't know what it is. I just have that feeling.
Gut instinct.
It's not even an instinct. It's just a feeling, Sam. We're watching David Dunwoody. He has nearly run off the course on several occasions. Crash Neon has gone a lap down. The only battle really for position on track here is Greg Evans, who decided he was going to turn sideways there. He is leading this train of Evans, Hodgson, and Kendall Paul. They are battling second, third, and fourth on the course, and that is really the only battle for position of note.
Right, because Sisler is in his own area code. Honestly, he's in his own stratosphere tonight. It's going to be. I thought that we might see some contenders that might push him. Although he doesn't have a 10-second lead in this stage, he's already up to 7 seconds and pulling away. So Matt Sisler is going to be in a good position to see how he finishes this race. Now, if you're viewing the event and you see that the caution has not come out, well, they're waiting for the 10th place car to cross the line, and the 10th place car is 1 lap down. So the caution will actually be coming out 1 lap later than lap 40.
Yeah, and so we're looking at the end of stage 2 momentarily.
Wow, Colby Pierce's car is so used up. He has got damage on the left front, right rear, middle, back. I mean, that car is just beat up really bad. And now the caution is out, and that will allow the field to close up. And for those drivers that are still in the lead lap and they're over a minute, David Dunwoody is over a minute behind. Colby Pierce is a minute behind. There's just several drivers that are so far back.
Well, and speaking
of, a while for them to catch the field.
It is, and speaking of used up, Pierce is going to bypass the chicane just as Dunwoody did under the last yellow.
That's just smart. It's just smart.
But both of those cars are a little bit worse for the wear, Sam. Both Dunwoody and Colby Pierce, they're gonna benefit by a large amount from having this yellow being able to catch up to the field, and then the caution lap takes almost 3 minutes, and so they're gonna have a wonderful opportunity to repair those race cars. You might be able to spend 5 minutes on pit road, and all that damage is optional. I don't see a meatball for either one of those cars. They should be able to effect full optional repair here under this yellow. Should. while we wait for Colby Pierce, and we'll definitely show him moving his way around the course, we do want to thank everybody for tuning in. We do have a nice crowd here tonight. If you haven't already done it, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, and subscribe to the P1 Broadcasting channel and be notified of all future iRacing broadcasts. Sam, we are in the drive for 1,400 subs. It seems like it wasn't too long ago. We were celebrating 500, 750, looking down the barrel of 1,000. 1,387. Let's put a big number a bigger number behind the one. Make it 1,400, and we can get there with your support. And we do thank you.
Before the end of this season, or even before the end of the night, that would be fantastic.
It most certainly would, Sam. I promise you that I do not have 1,300 YouTube accounts, so those are all real.
I'm sorry, I'm listening to in-race communication there. Mark, what'd you say?
I said, I promise you, Sam, I don't have 1,300 YouTube accounts. All of those are real.
Oh, are they?
Yes, it was not me just re-registering to YouTube.
Although some may question if you have that many personalities.
I might. My wife thinks so.
Colby Pierce is still
he's still trying to catch
like a madman, trying to catch the field. I mean, the caution comes out on lap 41, almost lap 42. We're on lap 43. The field is on the backstretch. Colby Pierce is still driving through the infield. That's how far behind they can get, and it takes so much time to catch the field. And so Justin Osterman is the same way. He's just ahead of Colby Pierce here, and they will catch them before they get to pit lane for pit stops. But I'm interested. They're
going to catch each other when they get there. They're going to catch each other first.
I was going to say, what's going to happen when Colby Pierce gets up here with Justin Osterman, and what kind of interaction will happen here, or will cooler heads prevail?
I am hoping that cooler heads prevail. I would hate for the administration to have to take action, and I know they have when drivers have done things they shouldn't under the yellow light, and so
Colby Pierce is just falling in line. Well, even Sean Merriman had said earlier in the evening, I made a comment about his faithfulness and commitment to the league, but the unfortunate side of when there's a points penalty system, and you get penalties for whatever transgressions that may have happened on the racetrack, and it reaches that threshold, then administration has to uphold that. They can't just ignore it if the rule is in place.
Yeah, you don't have a choice.
And it really does. I get where Sean's coming from, that that if he's faithful and he's committed, and he's been a regular attendee here at AMA, then by all rights, if he is committed and faithful, then clearly he's honoring the system, but you can't hold that as a detriment to whether or not you stay faithful to a series.
And to be fair, I've seen series directors and league owners suspend themselves. So in different leagues, and so I get it. It's disappointing to be on the shelf, but Sean Merriman will be back next week. No ifs, ands, buts, or nuts about it, and I'm sure he'll do a great job. Ryan O'Donoghue, interestingly enough, is still sitting on pit road, and he has been in his pit box for 47 seconds. We haven't really seen him hit anything, but he is definitely under repair, as are the cars of Pierce, Osterman, and David Dunwoody, along with Eric Corder. So those are the cars that are on pit lane. And remember, the caution lap here, Sam, 2 minutes and 42 seconds. It is a long, long caution lap here at Charlotte on the Roval with the chicanes.
Right.
Yes, Mike Rigney, I still hate chicanes.
You've only watched any of the broadcasts. You would have to really dig deep to see what Mark's feelings are about chicanes. It's very hard to catch. You have to really pay close attention to the broadcast, but it's
Sam, as much as the world's worst track designer Herman Tilke loves chicanes, I am that much opposed to them. How's that, Sam?
Well, no, there's not a person here that could tell that, honestly.
No. But we've still got 20 more laps. We're going to have 20 more laps of AMA Charlotte Roval action here with the chicanes. It's Murph, it's Sam. We are live here on the P1 Broadcasting Channel, and we're bringing to you the final race of the round of 12 here in the AMA. Greg Evans beats Matt Sisler off the pit lane. Sisler half a second in the box more than Greg Evans. Or excuse me, Greg Evans half a second in the box faster than Matt Sisler. Do want to point out that Troy Carricker should be getting a wave around here, and that would put him one lap down, and that is big because Carricker can pass Eric Quarter for position, and those are both playoff drivers. And so there goes Carricker. The lights are out on the pace car. We will get the green flag with 22 laps to go. Mike, I don't think all road racing should be banned. I think chicane should be banned. Road racing is fine. Just ban chicanes. We'll all be better off for it, Sam. Mike. All of us would be better off. Sam did not know he was walking into a diatribe about chicanes this evening.
Well, I do know that the reason that these facilities have built chicanes, it is because
it's a safety thing, right?
It is absolutely imperative that they slow some of the. Over the years and the decades, the cars have only continued to get faster, and the faster these cars get, sometimes the safety technology has a little trouble keeping up, and we've lost a lot of good drivers simply based on the fact that these road courses generated so much speed with faster cars, and so the only way to slow them down was to either put restrictions on engines or to slow them down within the confines of the racetrack, and chicanes were just created for that very reason, so that they would be able to slow the cars down, especially in the most dangerous of sections of courses. Now, no one's going to lose their life in a stem race, but still.
No, I know why they're there. I still don't have to like them, especially when they're put in the middle of a perfectly good oval that would put on a ridiculously good show here, Sam, in these cars. That's more of what gets me too. This road course, although it is fun, and it is a place to watch a race, and it's a great fan experience because it is probably Sonoma, I think, is kind of like that in areas where if you sit in certain spots, you can see the whole track. But this is probably the only road course in the world that you can see the entire course from a stadium seat.
That's very true.
So I get the value from that perspective. I wish that it would be on the oval. Say, hey, Lewis Hayes has joined in. He said his granddad told him the road is for getting to the race.
How you get to the race. That's right. That's an old country term.
I think that
the adage to that in the South was is asphalt's what you take to get to the race, dirt is what you race on.
Sam, I think you would have a wonderful road race, and you could probably generate a lot of views as we get back to green flag action.
Bringing us to the green flag, and now we're under green again, and Matt Sisler gets a great jump.
This is going to be interesting because Greg Evans took the lead in the pit lane.
So close right there.
Is Evans going to be able to take the fight to Sisler?
Well, now Sisler has the position. Sisler has the preferred line as they're going into this next section, and James Hodgson's going to fall in line, and that's going to leave Kendall Paul and Sean Roberts fighting it out as they come on the backside leading into the infield.
Do want to welcome Indy Kirkenbauer
with an amazing start.
Yeah, Matt Sisler jumped Greg Evans at the start. I was about to say, this is going to be interesting now that Greg Evans has the lead. Is he going to be able, for the first time, is somebody going to be able to take it to Matt Sisler? Sisler got the drop on him at the restart, caught Greg Evans asleep at the switch. That doesn't happen very often, but he did. Indy Kirkenbauer, welcome into the chat. Greg Evans going for the lead as he dives under Sizzler, going in the chicane on the way. Sizzler spun it, so is Evans. Hodgson goes through.
Oh my heavens, what did we just witness?
The only thing that I can compare that to is the 1988 San Diego Unlimited.
I think they were just trying to outbrake each other going into that chicane, and both of them lose control of their cars.
You did. That reminds me of the double flip from the Miss Circus and the Miss Madison in San Diego in the late 80s when the two hydroplanes went over. They flipped at the same time. That was almost synchronized.
It was. They were fighting for that for entry into that chicane, and both of them. It just seems like they just on cold tires as well. So you're not going to get a lot of grip on entry there. But you're racing for the lead. You're racing for really the best position in clean air, and both of those cars just lose it under heavy braking. Greg Evans is able to get back under speed a little bit better than Stisler. And Stisler's got about four cars between he and Greg Evans, and then they got eternity before they catch up to James Hodgson. And now we see up ahead of Greg Evans, we see where Kendall Paul has made the pass on Sean Roberts.
Yes, he has. So James Hodgson, the pole sitter, after some early scrapes, Roberts trying to pull the switchback on Kendall Paul. He's going to draw alongside. Here comes Ryan O'Donoghue. He's going to make a fight for that one of those podium spots. And I don't want to look now, Sam, and I hate pulling away from a top 5 battle, but look who's back together again, this time for 7th and 8th. There's Pierce and Osterman.
I think Colby Pierce's car is just, he dropped
it so deep. No. Big mess on the front. Colby Pierce into Justin Osterman. That collects Matt Sizzler. Crash Neon is involved. I'm sorry, Sam?
Roberts just ahead of them.
Yeah.
Sean Roberts was racing with Kendall Paul. They make contact, and that just pushes Sean Roberts straight into the outside wall on the front stretch. And now his car is smoking profusely, and he is on the pit lane. Colby Pierce's cars added damage from earlier now after that contact.
Yeah, Matt Sizzler got a piece of that too. Let's get a look at Sean Roberts as well. He's racing with Kendall Paul. Here's the incident with him. That was just ahead of that mess. Kendall Paul gets up on the turtles and just smacks Sean Roberts right into the outside retaining wall, into the safer barrier. Through comes David Dunwoody, and Sam, there's Sean Roberts. His night is over. Kendall Paul is going to race on with Ryan O'Donoghue. In the 5th slips David Dunwoody.
Wow. This is this is just so much to process in this last stage. I mean, we've got 20 laps to go, and now you have the dominant car of the night, Matt Stisler, who is 13 and a half seconds back from the lead in 6th place. It'll be interesting to see if he can make his way up there. But now catching these cars and making these passes in 19 laps is one thing. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do. David Dunwoody, who went a lap down earlier in the event, who's now running in 5th. Greg Evans, who spun on this restart, holding on to 4th position. James Hodgson, our pole sitter, has finally worked his way back up into the lead. This last stage has produced a lot of excitement.
It most certainly has, and Ryan O'Donoghue, who started on the outside pole, has made his way past Kendall Paul. Ryan O'Donoghue 2nd. So after all that, O'Donoghue, who led the first 8 circuits here, has worked his way back up to 2nd. Kendall Paul has been right around that 3rd, 4th spot for most of the event. Greg Evans has been as high as 2nd, has never led it. He is 4th, and David Dunwoody has been a lap down earlier in this event. He is 5th. Do want to point out, Justin Osterman, he got out of that scrap with Colby Pierce just about as good as he could. He is running behind Matt Sisler, and it's worth noting there has to be some sort of damage to the Matt Sisler automobile because his lap times have not been what they once were. He's caught back up to David Dunwoody, and so there's going to be a pass for fifth here momentarily. But Matt Sisler's car is about a second off of what it's capable of earlier in this event. And all that's just fine for James Hodgson because he has slowly begun to build that lead, Sam. 10th by 10th. It's up getting close to about 3 seconds.
His last lap by was in the 125s again. I mean, he's close to his pole speed. For James Hodgson, this is just a critical juncture of this particular race where he wants to just be consistent. Don't overdrive the car. Run what you know you can do. Allow yourself to be smooth and consistent, and bring the car home. That's the most important thing. Let these laps come to you and not feel like you have to force the issue. He's got a fast car.
Yes, indeed. Sisler back up to fifth. The problem is he's 10 seconds behind Greg Evans, and they're essentially running the same speed, and that's got to be disappointing for Matt Sisler. This man right here, though, that's the beneficiary. James Hodgson. The battle in Britt has just turned this into a Sunday drive. Sam, doesn't matter if
let's hope he keeps it there. Just let him bring home whoever it is riding in the back seat with him. Let him bring them home. There's still a lot of racing left, and we've learned anything can happen. There's still a lot of racing left, and we don't want to count chickens before they hatch. But James Hodgson is in a great spot, and then you have drivers behind him that are just as hungry for wins because Greg Evans is now catching Kendall Paul.
And there's the Greg Evans-Kendall Paul battle. That is for third spot. Ryan O'Donohue pretty firmly ensconced in second. He's about he's anywhere from 1.2 to 1.4 seconds up the road.
Sean Roberts' night is over.
Yeah, he's disconnected. The engine is blown in that number 13. And that's a huge thing for Troy Carricker because Carricker, if you recall, was involved in a mess not of his own. And he's made up now 2 spots from retirements. John Hutchins has retired. Sean Roberts has retired. Troy Carricker is now 11th. And so pending any further retirements, he may continue to gain spots. And remember, he's in that playoff battle as well, Sam. So just trying to keep his hopes alive. But the man that's doing wonders for his playoff dreams, that's James Hodgson. He can win this race. It's on to the next round, brother.
Well, that would be a big boost for his confidence moving on into the playoffs. But there's just this last time by, as we said, the race is not over. Ryan O'Donohue shaves off 2/10 on that particular lap, and now he's looking to try and close the gap between he and Hodgson. Hodgson's going to have to make sure that he's consistent, and because he's going to have some hot shoes that are wanting to get involved in that lead spot before this race is over. There's still quite a few laps left.
Speaking of hot shoes, Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman, has caught back up to Matt Sisler. Sisler had made the move. Osterman wants the position back after they both got through and clear of David Dunwoody. Moved Dunwoody back down to 7th, which I still say would be a punch above his weight result for David Dunwoody. But Osterman now is starting to flex his muscle. Mr. Excitement looking at the back of the Three Birdies Chevrolet here. And we're pretty sure that's a wounded Three Birdies car. We know it's a wounded number 53 here.
Right.
For Osterman.
Where is the damage and how extensive is it? I know that when Matt Sisler and Greg Evans did the synchronized spinning going into the first chicane on the last restart, Matt Sisler cued the mic up in the middle of his spin and just talked about how he hated his life at that particular point. He knows that it was a detriment to his race, but now with Justin Osterman, who these two drivers, I don't know how much experience they have.
I hope we didn't lose Sam. Sam Crow apparently has a bit of a hiccup in the internet connection. We're watching Kendall Paul and Greg Evans as they circulate here at the Charlotte Roval. This is the battle for third and fourth spot. Greg Evans is third. Kendall Paul is fourth. This is the closest battle on the course that does not involve Justin Osterman. Osterman is still working on Sizzler, fifth and sixth. And as soon as Sam gets back, Sam, if you can hear us, speak up. But as soon as Sam gets back to us, we'll let him finish his point. You're watching the AMA Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series live on P1. Do want to thank everybody for your patience. We are working some technical difficulties with Sam Crow. He cannot be heard at the moment. James Hodson.
I haven't been completely disconnected, but Discord has definitely been affected as far as communication is. I've been able to hear you, but you've not been able to hear me.
No, I couldn't. And so the fun thing about Discord, if people out there don't use it, for whatever reason, is that when you're in a voice chat, the person who's talking or making noise, their name lights up in the conversation, kind of like a Zoom call or a Teams call if you've been in those for professional reasons. Sam's voice was lighting up, or his name was lighting up as he was talking. His icon, couldn't hear it. No sound coming through, and so. Sometimes that happens.
Yeah, for some reason, my quality and latency and my packet loss really jumped up there all of a sudden. I never got disconnected from the server. I was still attached to the race, and I could hear you, but you were not able to hear me.
Yeah, sometimes that happens. That is one of the things about virtual racing, right? Internet connections happen, connection issues happen, and oftentimes it's outside of the driver's control, and we treat it in the sim just like you would a blown engine. In a race, which is about how frequently it occurs, right, Sam?
Oh, absolutely. And in 2K3, you could initiate random failures in the racing. So it was not unusual to be able to all of a sudden have a blown motor or a tire that you wouldn't get a meatball flag. The tire would literally go flat on you.
We've had those in the sim. I can recall Robert Molechka III in a race at Pocono. There's a very specific way in an IndyCar to save fuel, and Molechka was saving fuel on a long-term strategy. And the car he wound up detonating the engine. It was wild. It's one of the few times that we've seen. It was one of the few times that we've seen an engine failure in the sim, but it did happen. It was in a broadcasted race too, Sam.
Oh wow!
So not only did it happen to somebody, but it happened to a pretty well-known sim racer in Robert Molechka. It was just like one of those freak things. We, as a community, we reached out to iRacing, and there is the ability for random failures to happen in the sim, but it's like 0.0000001%. So like,
that's not even random. That's freak. That's a freakishly occurrence. It's not even a random.
That's what they said, right? It's in the code because the code is. The code was born out of those NASCAR papyrus games where you could have random failures.
Right.
So it's still there, but they've just turned the percentage all the way down so that it never happens.
To non-existent.
but it can happen. When we sent that in, the response jokingly was have him buy a lottery ticket, and then they explained what it was. But failures can occur in the sim, but you will very rarely see it. But we do treat internet issues just as you would engine failures. You're watching the battle for third and fourth. It's Greg Evans and Kendall Paul. Evans has it. Paul wants it. James Hodgson has built a 5-second lead over Ryan O'Donoghue. The battle in Britt has checked out and is sauntering away, Sam. You didn't think you'd hear the word sauntering tonight, did you?
Well, it's a British man, so I'm a British driver. I'm sure he would appreciate the great vocabulary.
Get him a pipe and a bowler hat when he gets to victory lane, my man. Maybe a monocle.
Well, we're under 10 laps to go, so I just find that James Hodgson is a gentleman and a great racer, and I'm rooting for him to kind of finish this thing out.
Now hold on, Sam. He's assigned to my endurance team. We're trying to put together a group to run the Petite Le Mans this weekend, and James said he couldn't run because he had been assigned a project at home, and so the response to him was Bert from Sesame Street shrugging his shoulders, shaking his head, and all of us calling him a Muppet.
Oh, well, if there's any man that has been married and has responsibilities, then we always face that music at some point, sometime.
You have to, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's an orchestra that none of us can avoid.
I made the mistake, Sam, of taking the day off tomorrow. My wife's been working on that list since I sat down here to call this race. I'm almost scared to look at it. That cup of tea she made you. There's a price behind that. I tell you what, Sam, I may call my boss tomorrow and say, hey, I'm coming to the office. The heck with this.
No, probably you're going to text him and say, hey, will you call me at such and such time that you need me at work?
Believe it or not, I've known people that have done that. James Hodgson, he is now a 5.1 second lead. Mike, he is a very handy prototype racer, and so he would probably excel in an IndyCar if he devoted the time, for sure. This battle here has cooled off. Greg Evans is now a second away from Kendall Paul and about a second away from Ryan O'Donoghue, and that gives us a chance to take a look at the battle in Britt. He took all the sponsor logos off the car, Sam, just the forward-facing 88, and he's driven that baby to the front. He sat on the pole, made some mistakes early, but after the synchronized spinning from Sizzler, and Matt Sizzler has parked the number 9 machine.
Yeah, Matt Sizzler is off the track. I was looking for him. I was like, is my connection that bad that I've lost a car? But he is completely off the racing surface. He's out of the race.
Yeah, Sam, you've lost it now. You're going to need to find the monocle that belongs to James Hodgson and go look for him. Anyway,
apparently, yeah.
Anyway, no, Sizzler
You say monocle when you talk about British lifestyle, but every time someone mentions a monocle, I cannot get Colonel Klink out of my mind.
It's either that or Mr. Peanut.
I have always, anytime someone says monocle, I always think of Colonel Klink in that series, the Hogan's Heroes. I don't know why.
Do they even have Mr. Peanut anymore? Is that still a thing, Sam?
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's still a mascot for Planters here in the United States.
I haven't. Maybe it's because I don't eat a lot of peanuts. I do enjoy cashews though, so I have to figure that out. Do want to point out that with Sizzler retiring, that is going to move Troy Carricker up into the top 10. So Carricker has persevered. He's going to need another retirement, excuse me, Sam, in order to move up further. Everything else is pretty much smooth sailing all the way around the course. Greg Evans and Kendall Paul, Ryan O'Donoghue.
Yeah, Sizzler and Osterman were really the last battle on the racetrack. Pierce and Neon are really the only ones close enough together uh, that you could constitute a race. But other than that, we're pretty spread out at this point. How exciting do you think it is in that forward-facing 88 machine that you're in front and that you're riding out the last portions of this race and you're wanting to make sure that you finish well? Can you imagine the level of excitement and adrenaline that might be going through? I know for myself in instances where I've been put in positions where I felt like I was winning a race that was very important and big to me. Situations like this really get the adrenaline going. You're it's not an exaggeration when on normal or on broadcast for real races that drivers that are broadcasters, they begin to tell you that in the closing laps of a race you begin to start hearing every little thing. Your sensories perception is elevated dramatically. Every bump, every ripple, every steering input, every brake input, it is all exacerbated in your thought and your senses in those closing laps. So I wonder if that's how James Hodgson might be feeling. I don't think he's a stranger to winning, but this will be his first win this year if he can close this out. And so I'm just wondering what emotions might be going through his mind.
I mean, you can probably talk about that better than I have, Sam. You've been around a long time and have won some big races. What's it like for you closing in on a big win like this, a first in a series, or the one that ends a long drought, certainly in competition? What does that feel like to you? Because you've been in those spots.
I was in a big race, a big truck race one year at Lime Rock, and there was a big field that for that particular event, and there were some incredibly fast trucks that were ahead of me, and I had settled into fourth position, but the second and third place trucks got into a bit of a battle, and I was able to get up into second spot. But the leader had gotten out to a large lead, but he had burned his stuff up so quickly at Lime Rock that I was able to close up in the with 10 laps to go. I made the pass somewhat. He got a little wide in turn one. I was able to pass him with 10 laps to go. In my mind, just for me, I get incredibly anxious, and I don't want to call it bad anxiety. It's just more anxiety, where I'm just really sensitive to everything. I want to make sure that I'm paying close attention to my marks. Everything is just 10 times greater in my senses, my emotions, my reaction time. I just feel like everything is just elevated, and I begin to get very nervous not to make a mistake and very self-conscious to keep everything under control.
I think for me, it's not nervousness. Most of the big races that I've been in that you would get nervous for would be Indy cars in Indianapolis. You don't have time to be nervous, but you do get hyper aware. So like,
Hmm.
when you talk about big wins there, like the Dark Horse 500 or the Top Split Open iRacing 500, when you talk about those two races, I can probably replay the last 5 laps in slow motion in my head, just because you're so hyper aware and hyper focused in those moments. It's not necessarily being nervous, because there's no time to be nervous. If you're nervous at Indianapolis in an Indy car, you're not going to make it, right? Um,
Right.
so there's no nervousness and there's no fear, but there is definitely hyper awareness, especially in the Dark Horse 500, where I was racing with the open the iRacing Open 500 finished under yellow, so I didn't really have to worry about the nerves in that one. But the Dark Horse 500, Craig Forsyth and I, if you want to go back and look at that race on P1, Craig Forsyth and I went wheel to wheel for like the last 3
Oh,
laps.
poor character gets loose right in front of the leader.
Yeah, and he did the right thing. He pulled
Wow.
over to the right and let James Hodgson in the Ford Face in '88 go. It's worth dropping back and having a look at this battle because positions 2, 3, and 4 continue to run more or less as they were.
Yeah, these two, second and third, were able to get around Ryan O'Donoghue.
Yes, they have. So O'Donoghue's back to fourth. Mike Rigney has tossed Sam firmly under the bus. He said he wasn't nervous at all because he didn't know he was at the checkered flag. And Kendall Paul, hard sideways. That may give a chance for Ryan O'Donoghue, but O'Donoghue breaks loose behind him, Sam. I believe the tires on these cars are just about gone.
Oh, no question. And these drivers are racing for these spots all the way to the end.
Yes, they are, but he says he didn't know that the race was over because you didn't tell him.
No, I did not. I didn't want. I know Mike's. When I spot for Mike, I know Mike is very. He's very attuned at what he's doing. He stays so attached to what he's doing. He's so regimented at the steering wheel, and being the spotter, I just wanted to make sure that Mike had I didn't want him.
He didn't want to interrupt his rhythm. Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't want him to be distracted by anything outside of the regiment of driving the car. If he's worried about fuel, I don't want him worried about fuel. I'm going to be the one worried about fuel. And the Lionheart win that we had together at Pocono, that was a very memorable win as a spotter. But
it's not. But it's not like
been a lot of instances in my career where I've won races, and it really does. It really does. Even though it might be, even though it's a sim, you still
feel it for sure.
Those feelings and that adrenaline is real. It is real when you're involved in those things. Oh. You can't get away from it.
Oh no! I mean, having the crazy thing about the top split 500, as people may or may not know, there's 4 time slots for the fixed for fixed setup, and there's 4 slots for open. So the time slot that I won, Sam, was 10 a.m. on Sunday morning Eastern. So I woke up, I went to Mass at 7 in the morning, got home, prepped in the sim, and then drove that race, and it was over at 12:30, and I was still on that high 12 hours later, not able to sleep.
Yeah.
Knowing that, you just done something that, very few people have done. When one of those high, when one of those super high soft 500-mile Indianapolis races, that's a pretty elite community where really, there's only a handful of drivers that have ever done that because the same guys win multiple splits all the time, right?
Oh yeah. And there's a lot of drivers that seem to run up front on a regular basis. I know one year we finished on the podium at Daytona in the 24 hours, and the last hour and a half of that race was incredibly nerve-wracking for all of us as we were just trying to work ourselves through a lot of traffic to get back up into a podium position. Even a podium works all of that within your mental capacity and your thought processes. It's interesting to say the least. And so I was just curious that, different drivers may handle it in different ways. If you win a lot, it may not bother you, or it may not be as much of a sensory input for you. But for drivers that don't win a lot,
it doesn't matter how much you win. I think the big wins always do that, and this is certainly a big one for James Hodgson. He's getting ready to come down. Get the
white flag.
To get the white flag. St. Louis Hayes has said that they've messaged Max Verstappen to see if he wants to jump in the 40 racewear entry at Petit Le Mans. I want to see Max follow Richie Hearn. I think that would be a terrific driving combo. I think both of them would enjoy that. Just so long as
No. He actually said they're looking for Max Verstappen to race the 4340 race where F-150 tomorrow, but he hasn't responded yet.
No,
It wasn't the Petit Le Mans. It was actually the AMA race tomorrow night.
I want to see Max. I would love to see Max. He showed up and did a Nürburgring IndyCar race with us in the top split the last time the ring was on the schedule, and typically that happens around Thanksgiving. Sam, is the Nürburgring, the IndyCars will run Nordschleife, and Max showed up for that the last time. That was pretty wild. James Hodgson has moved through the newly constructed hairpin, Sam. He's going through NASCAR 3 and 4, or excuse me, NASCAR 1 and 2, and it's only the chicane, the other end of the banking, and another chicane standing in the way of victory.
Well, let's bring him home, Mark. Let's bring James Hodgson across the start-finish line to finish this race here at the Roval in Charlotte.
Here he is through the final chicane. James Hodgson, left, right, then left across the line. No wheel spin. There is your checkered flag. James Hodgson has broken the streak and has won here in the AMA Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series. Greg Evans third, Kendall Paul fourth. Ryan O'Donoghue will come across the line. Excuse me, Evans second, Paul third, Ryan O'Donoghue fourth. Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman, survives the battle of the bumpers with Colby Pierce. He's going to come home fifth. And speaking of the battle of the bumpers, Sam, Colby Pierce and David Dunwoody are still trading paint coming off of that hairpin. They still have half a lap to go, Sam, but they're side by side going down the back.
Every position matters to these drivers as we're seeing them fighting out going down the backstretch.
Now these
Colby Pierce drives it in deep. He thinks wiser. Oh, and he makes contact with Dunwoody as they come into the second part of the chicane.
Yes, he does. Now these two are good friends. They are good friends. Colby Pierce actually does work for David Dunwoody at Blackmagic Studios. Dunwoody, of course, the owner of the proprietor of the Blackmagic deal.
Oh, he cuts the corners. Colby Pierce will be penalized. He can't give that.
Now, see, they're messing with each other still. Crash Neon is going to come around, and he will be the final finisher, Sam.
Yeah, Colby Pierce is penalized significantly there, and he'll actually lose 2 spots.
Yes, he will.
Another spot.
Yeah, he's going to drop to. He'll drop to the last car on the lead lap there, Sam.
Right.
And so that, as they say, is that, Sam.
Six of the top 6 are all playoff contending drivers, and 9th and 10th place are playoff contending drivers.
Yes, they are.
What a great race for James Hodgson.
Yes, it was. James Hodgson is going to be your winner tonight at Charlotte on the Roval. Greg Evans is second. Kendall Paul rounds out your podium. Ryan O'Donoghue just misses it after starting on the front row. He'll come home fourth. Justin Osterman is fifth. David Dunwoody, Crash Neon, Colby Pierce round out the lead lap cars. 6th, 7th, and 8th. Eric Quarter, 2 laps in arrears. Troy Carricker finished 3 laps down. In 11th, Matt Sisler, Sean Roberts, 12th, John Hutchins, 13th, Barry Seaman, 14th. All of them out of the event. And let's see if we can't get some drivers around the interview room, Sam.
Oh, we'll be lucky to get Hodgson in here. He's going to burn those tires down for a while, and I can't say I blame him.
You know, I wouldn't blame him either. There's no win as special as your first one, and so give the man his due, Sam. But we do have Kendall Paul in here. Kendall, you've got Murph, you've got Sam Crow in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Hey, got you guys. What's going on?
Tell you what, it was an eventful run to third. I got to ask, what was your thought when you saw Evans and Sizzler do the synchronized spinning going through the backstretch chicane there? It was almost like the seas parted.
Yeah, a little bit. I just saw a lot of white smoke and two cars spinning. I didn't know who it was. I was like, please don't be James, and um, just focused on putting it right through the uprights. Apparently, survived that. That was just the big thing. Is just getting this car to survive to the end and just being consistent throughout the whole day, and that's the main goal. And it normally pays off like it did today.
Kendall, great finish again. Your consistency proves to everyone watching, your consistency proves that you're a contender. But what did you feel like was the most critical part of racing here at the Roval in these cars tonight?
Just mainly consistency all throughout the whole entire night, and I did it. I felt like I did it pretty good. Stage 1 and 2, keeping the tires underneath me and not burning the rears off as fast. And I told myself going to stage 3 just do the same thing. And what did I do? Not do the same thing. So I didn't have the rears to pass Greg and made a few mistakes with that. And ultimately, that's I think the reason why I couldn't get second there. But just consistency all night and not making any mistakes. And I think I only made really one huge mistake, missing the bus stop there on the back straightaway in stage 1, and somehow I drifted in turn 1 and about put her in the heartburn turn. But not that I was a gunner there, but kept her out of the fence there, so that was surprising to myself. But yeah, just consistency.
Well, there you go, Kendall.
Great job tonight. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, consistency is the key. Sometimes it doesn't pay to be the fastest over one lap, but if you can consistently be almost that fast, you can consistently be on the podium, and that's where you are. And because you're on the podium, friends, family, sponsors, shout-outs, you get the mic. The floor is yours.
He got a shout-out. Hayes Police Officer Sergeant Heineman. He lost his life Sunday night. Well, Saturday morning, Sunday night. In the line of duty, so shout out to him and his family. My sister's from that community, so it's hit that community pretty hard. So got the thoughts and prayers for the community of Hayes up there in Kansas. Kind of thinking about them this week. So I love this paint scheme that we're running, but I hate running it so often. We've had 4 in the last 3 months, so it's pretty bad. It's bad that you got to run it so much, but it's a good looking car. Second of all, now I got to thank Archway Industrial Coatings and Sean Mott and Jason Southard. Those guys are the ones that make this possible, make the broadcast possible, and that sort of stuff. So I got to thank them. I can't thank them enough. They've been great sponsors to work with, great people to work with, and looking forward to working with them the rest of the season and working with them in 2026. Really excited about that. Gotta thank the rest of the sponsors, Blackburn Studio, Archway. Well, I already said them. Rogue Energy, Track Racer, Admin Box, all those guys that put some sort of form of work, either financially or whatever they do. Can't thank them enough for making this all possible. And got a shout out to James getting his first win on the 2025 season, getting him in the round of 8. I told him a win just erases all the points away, so it's not that hard, is it? But he made it happen tonight. I'm really happy for him. I say this all the time. I love seeing the team guys run better and do better and get their first wins this season and that sort of stuff. So I love seeing that personally. And got to shout out Dunwoody and Colby, keep sticking it in there, keeping it throughout the race. I think Dunwoody will move on to the next round. So it'll be nice to have a lot of team cars in the round of 8. Hopefully we can get the most to the championship 4. And got to thank you guys up here in the booth for putting this on. And got to thank all the AMA staff that continues to work their tails off, and we're getting ready down to wrap this season up and then start 2026 planning.
Hey, thank you so much for dropping in, Kendall. Congratulations on the podium. Congratulations on moving on to that round of 8. Keep going fast and having fun, buddy. We'll see you at the next one.
Yep, you guys have a good night. Thanks. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Kendall Paul is your 3rd place runner. 2nd place tonight is none other than the Deuce, Greg Evans. Greg, you've got Murph, you've got Murph, and you got Sam in the P1 broadcasting booth. So I asked Kendall what he thought about synchronized spinning. What was your take?
I look back, look at the replay, and I thought it was timed and done perfectly. Honestly, I mean,
the judges gave you a 9.4.
Yeah, except there was It was 9 fours and 9 fives from everybody, but the West Virginian judge gave you a 6.75.
Yeah, right.
Well, those guys can't see straight anyways.
Hey, wait! Be careful, cause Rigney's in the.
Well, no, he left. So he left.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he said good night. So I feel like we can throw him
Oh,
under the bus
okay.
now.
So we're
Well,
safe.
if Rigney knows where Sam lives about, then he's only about 5 minutes from my house too, so we can talk about it.
Other than that, man, tell us about your night. I don't think you led a lap, except no, you would have led a lap because you got the lead coming off of pit road, and then it was you and Sizzler. And really, I thought, man, this is going to be the first time that somebody is going to be able to challenge Sizzler. And then you guys both spun out, so you get stuck in the back. You storm your way all the way up to second. Do you think you had anything for Hodgson, or was he just able to turn it up late and gone?
No, it took everything I had to get back in front of Kendall and Ryan after that self spin. My rear tires were already heated up. Yeah, I wasn't even going to try that big of a lead. I just wanted to try to keep Kendall where he was and finish second. But yeah, I on the restart with when I was leading, I just left it in second gear and didn't even think about putting it in first, and that's what really kept me and Ryan side by side there for a while. And I really felt like I got on the brakes pretty early in the chicane, but I mean, it was a beautiful spin. I caught first gear and just kept it going. But yeah, after all that, I wasn't trying to catch James. He ran a good race. He ran his race, and that's how you win them.
Greg, another fantastic night for you. I felt like you had a really good car on the long runs, but there were a couple of guys that seemed to have equally as good cars on the long runs. Were you a little surprised at the lap speeds tonight?
I honestly, I've never raced this version of the Roval, so I didn't know what to expect. So my first couple laps in here, I was pretty far off. But I felt like once I got in the race, I could kind of figure things out from there. But yeah, it was a pretty intense pace. I don't know that if me and Matt would have not self spun there if I'd had anything from Matt. I feel like he probably would have got by me at some point. But yeah, it was a lot of fun though. But I mean, it was you had to hit every spot just right, because every little mistake just amplified, it seemed like.
Yeah, I was thinking your typical approach to racing in a lot of instances is just you have a willingness to let drivers go and just if they're going to burn their stuff down, then let them burn their stuff down, and you'll pace yourself in a little bit different way. But some of these guys really did a great job of running pace and keeping pace all throughout the run.
Yeah, I was telling James in the booth, I felt like you had to pick up the pace a little bit. I mean, I would have loved to have backed off for half a tenth here and half a tenth there and try to save some tires, but once you got behind somebody, the way the racetrack is set up, it felt like you had to have the person in front of you make a big mistake because of the chicane. In one, you could be right on their bumper, and then just that one turn right there, depending on how you approached it and the guy in front of you approached it, you could lose everything you had. So there was a lot of instances like that tonight where you would gain on somebody, and then all of a sudden you get to one turn and lose it. So I felt like, you had to be a little bit uncomfortable as far as how much you had to push the car tonight.
Right. Well, it's just another great finish, my friend.
Yeah, and that's the name of the game, right? Finish on the podium. Good things happen. You're locked and loaded for the round of 8, and so congratulations on that. As always, friends, family, sponsors, shout outs. The floor is yours, Greg.
Yeah, definitely got to thank Sim Magic, Sim Labs, and Sim Shop, the 3 Sims, and Freightliner again. And we'll where's the race at next week? I didn't even look at, honestly.
The next one, I believe, is at Vegas. So the round of 8 is Vegas, Talladega, and Martinsville.
That'd be interesting. Talladega will be interesting, but I feel like we'll have a pretty good piece at Las Vegas and Martinsville. So, and that's a good thing about winning a couple races during the year. I feel like we've got a pretty good buffer to go into the round of 8 with. So we'll just try to win a race real early and then maybe try to coast during Talladega and Martinsville, hopefully. But you never know.
Yeah, no worries. You do have a huge buffer, and so congratulations on that too, my friend. Keep going fast, having fun. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you guys doing everything and broadcasting it, and yeah, we'll see you next week.
You're more than welcome, Greg. That's Greg Evans. He is P2 tonight, and for a very, very happy man, we're going to bring in the winner, James Hodgson. James, I called you a Muppet earlier, and you got the Bert shaking his head meme thrown at you. You respond by taking all the sponsor stickers off your car. You win the race. The first question is, why did you take all the sponsor stickers off your car?
Aerodynamic efficiency.
Very good.
I honestly, I don't know. I was putting together a new
paint and just didn't
different scheme, and then just decided to take them off this race, and I think I'll do the same next week.
There you go.
I was going to say, now the question is do you put them back on?
No, and I need Mark to come back in next week and just call me a Muppet again, if that's possible, please.
As long as you change your socks and underwear, we'll be all right, James. I tell you what, it's.
James.
Go ahead, Sam.
I was just gonna say, James, I am absolutely thrilled for you. I was trying everything within my power not to say something to give you the broadcaster's curse or anything in those closing laps. At the beginning of the race, it seemed like you were trying so hard to race that car, and was missing some marks, driving a little too deep, and you found your rhythm late in the race. But my question for you tonight would be. Outside of my exuberance for your win, my question for you would be, after all the racing that you've done this year, both in the Truck Series and in the Grand National Series, can you just give us a little insight about what your feelings are winning a race here this late in the season, especially a tough race here at the Roval?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but I am smiling broadly from ear to ear right now. I'm still kind of can't believe that, yeah, I got the win tonight. And I'm, to your point, there's been races where I've been in the mix, but just not been good enough to get the win. And it just feels really good. It's so funny because obviously I went into New Hampshire in the trucks and said to myself at the start, James, just survive and beat the person you need to beat. That's it. That's all you need to do to get through. And I muffed that one up. So I came in tonight, and again, Ryan was quick. I managed to get the pole, and same fashion as last week, get the pole, and then I just messed up the first couple of corners, like you pointed out. I was missing marks, and it wasn't until 2 laps in where I was getting quite frustrated with myself, going, hang on a minute, you practice this, you run goodness knows how many laps, your braking points, what's different? Is it the tyres? And then, thankfully, Dunwoody, who was in the team chat, said, track temperature's gone up. And as soon as he said that, I was able to go, I got it. I just need to back things up slightly, readjust the braking points, and good. But to answer your question, honestly, it feels fantastic. I mean, I'd rather get it under circumstances where I overtake someone and beat them. It was very fortuitous tonight, but a win's a win, and I will absolutely take it. I was just gutted for Matt and Greg, because they were in a good position. They were racing really, really well tonight.
Well, sometimes brakes have to work in your favor as well, as much as they've worked into other drivers' favor during races, and so it's a compilation of all things working together, as well as being fast and consistent, and it's just really nice. Mark and I were just excited for you to be able to experience a victory tonight and move on to the next round.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Talk about skin of your teeth. Kansas and this one, miss Bristol. So I'll be around for the next 3 races. I'm not missing any more. It's too stressful.
How do you give your chances moving forward? Does this ramp up your initiative? Does it inspire you a little bit more? Does it give you a little bit more pep to face these next 3 races and try a little bit, maybe practice a little bit more, maybe fine tune things a little bit more? Does it kind of inspire you?
100%. Yeah, I'm very, very competitive, just in life in general, and it just spurs me on now to want to do better. It's going to be tough because we've got some tough tracks coming up now, and obviously we've got a lottery track with Talladega and then Martinsville to cap it all off. So, but it should be fun. But to your point, yeah, it's definitely spurring me on to put a little bit extra time in and just give it the best for the next few races and see what we can do.
That's fantastic, man.
Yeah, it's fantastic to see you up here, Sam. It's fantastic to have you in the booth. It's fantastic to see you finally get your first trophy in the AMA. And because you've done so, friends, family, sponsors, shout-outs, floor is yours, dude.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Yeah, just want to thank the team, Dark Horse Performance, for just having me on the team and supporting me. Kendall was right through the race tonight, just calling out the gaps, and want to thank Dunwoody as well. Dunwoody, fair play, kept me calm during that last stage. Just kept saying, James, just 80%, cruise around, you'll be good. Big thank you to Archway Industrials, especially Sean Mott, for all his support for the league. Truly appreciate it. Admin Box, Blackmagic Studios, and of course yourselves, Mark, Sam, P1 Broadcasting, for always putting on a very professional, fun, and engaging broadcaster. Just truly appreciate it. It makes it fun to watch it back, and I think I'll be one of those dullards and probably watch this back and still be grinning ear to ear.
Oh, this one will go in your archives. You won't.
Yeah, you won't ever forget this.
You'll save this one.
Yeah, heck yeah. Well, thank you so much, James, for joining us. Go celebrate, buddy. You've earned it.
Thank you. Will do. Take care, guys.
Yep. That is James Hodgson. That is one happy man. He
Real
is.
for him.
Yeah, I am too. James is. I've said this before. James Hodgson is my endurance teammate. He, Kendall, Paul, myself, and for right now, Matt Wagner are the 4 that share the Dark Horse Performance Cadillac. And so I smile when Kendall wins, but I know how hard James works for it, and I know what it means to him to finally, after really 3 years of trying, be able to win a race in the series. If you're not done with P1's exciting action, we're right back here tomorrow night, 8:20 pre-race, 8:35 green flag for the Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. It's the Charlotte Roval.
Let's replace these trunks with some truck beds.
That's right. And then we're going to have Saturday off. It is Petit Le Mans. I realize many of you are going to be racing in that, as will I. Sunday night, 8 p.m. It's a big one. The Dark Horse DW12 Series presented by the Joy of Driving. They're going to visit Indianapolis. That is the finality. Sam, I hear you're pretty good at spotter duty, so you available at 8 o'clock Sunday? I might need some.
I work on Sundays.
I might need some help, brother. Monday night, it is the IndyCar Series Monday Night Top Split from Phoenix. It is the short oval. That will be a special presentation done by Jacob Collins. I am going to be out of town on a quick business trip, but Jacob has everybody covered. 8 o'clock Eastern, right here on P1 for the IndyCar Open Series. That is the present. The past comes alive at 9:05 with the Prime crew. That's Gary Godso, LGN. They're going to take those Lotus 79s to Michigan, Sam.
Oh man, if I thought the Homestead race was good and the New Hampshire race was good, then
Yeah.
I can only imagine how good it's going to be
Yeah.
at Michigan.
If you thought Homestead was wild, that's going to have nothing on Michigan in the Onyx Racing League. Check that out, 9:05. And then the future is the nightcap. That is the Indy Next Road Series. That takes place at 10 right here on P1. Jacob Collins will be back with that one Tuesday night. The flagship broadcast, the IndyCar Oval Series top split from Richmond, 8:15, immediately followed by the Indy Next Oval Series, also from Richmond. Next Wednesday, it is the Formula Indy Series, live from Barber, 8:20 p.m. That is 8:20 p.m. with Stephen Larkamp and Gary Godso. And then we're right back here for the AMA Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series, 8:20 pre-race, 8:35 start live from Las Vegas. Get your dice ready, Sam.
Absolutely. Let's the roulette wheel might be a better analogy as well.
You know, is that single zero, double zero, or triple zero roulette, Sam? Seb Alexander and I had a huge debate today about triple zero roulette. I will not bore everybody with the details, but suffice to say, we are not in favor. Anyway, we do want to thank everybody who showed up tonight, who came out and joined the broadcast, who made it a great time. We do thank you all, as well as the competitors, from the bottom of our hearts. But we really want to thank the people who make it possible: the military, the police, the firemen, the EMTs who drive the ambulance, Sam, and the nurses that unload you when you get to the hospital. We thank you
so
all.
much.
For Sam and Murph, we will see you tomorrow night.
Good night, everybody.